Well done. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
not too bad.
The Russian judge gives a 8.7.
Let's be honest here, it was a 5.3, but whatever. Alright, so I think I've got everything. So I did get the chance to talk to Saber for a couple minutes. So hopefully I'll be able to do stuff with that. But you guys last were in the Northern Weir, took off on Wyvern back, and are flying back with the Wyverns that you had met before, or rather that came and picked your asses up. I'm trying to find.
After we exchange one party member for another and kill the beholder, an illusory dragon.
Yes. Yes, yes. You also saw 13 sort of
super wyverns.
There's silver wyverns, but you saw them turn their heads towards saddlebags and their riders for a moment, and then breathe gouts of flame out. Whether maybe one of you would know what that is, but I really doubt it at the moment. Something to ask about if you want to. But as you guys are flying away, those wyverns sort of make relatively quick work of the rocks as they burn off the feathers on their bodies, not reducing their ability to fly to essentially zero, and then swing back around and actually take up a point position as you are now surrounded by easily 100 wyvern in a wedge formation, sort of guarding you guys and the queen, and are heading back to the Northern Weir. So yeah, and then Busty, you picked up a bunch of extra stuff.
Yep.
In the room.
Yep.
And then yeah, we'll see what happens going further. But you guys continue on for a while. Bits and pieces have basically small scuffles break out on the outside edges, but they're pretty quickly cleaned up. At this point, it's kind of in the afternoon, early evening, if not a little bit later in the evening, and you clear the ridge that you guys, the Shard Ridge that you guys came across and had to cross yourselves, and just out past that, another hour or two goes by until you're about where you were dropped off initially, and you can see some of the wyverns are now starting to land.
Oh, okay, so we're going through the portal thingy.
Portal thingy?
Or the transportation method that we used to get here, we're using that same way to get back.
Wyverns carrying you? Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know.
No.
Up to you guys.
I fucking totally confused that with something we did earlier. Ignore me.
Yeah.
I haven't finished my coffee. I'm shut.
You're good. No. Right now, you guys are so far outside of the Northern Weir, like you couldn't do that to begin with. You need to get back to the actual Weir. But at the moment, basically, you guys are sort of flying back in that general direction to get the young queen back to, well, her mom, basically. So you guys are flying, but you can kind of see, there's scales missing from several wyverns.
Would said wyverns be within 60 feet of us?
Some of them are, but there are also, there's literally over 100 and more packing in towards the backs, having cleaned up some of the stuff around them. So yes, there are a few, but there's also, each one has about a 25-foot wingspan.
Oh, okay.
So
that's pretty respectable.
For a wyvern, yes. But like you've got those, and then you've got the 13 big ones sort of taking point, and they have easily a wingspan of 35 to 40 feet. They're huge. They're almost less wyverns, more mini dragons in a way. But as you guys head over towards, sort of there's a large area ahead. Well, not very large. There's a clearing, and it's very similar to the clearing that you guys landed in. It's a little bit bigger, and all the wyverns sort of keep up at a decent altitude as the 13 in front sort of drop down and begin burning away any foliage. Not necessarily dead trees, but there are trees here. They're just dormant currently. They're burning away a huge amount of space so that, you can land and as they do so, wyverns start to land in various points. Eventually, you guys land towards the center of this rough circle that's been burned out of the area. Sort of seeming to be, roughly where the center is. So there's a lot of wyverns on either side. You can definitely see that, the riders and the wyverns themselves are extremely weary from fighting and flying for so fucking long.
I am going to, over the course of our journey to this place, I'm going to go ahead and examine the armor of the wyvern rider that's carrying me. What does it look like? Any interesting designs or like metals or whatever?
So it's studded leather, but it's covered in a really thick sort of fur coat sort of deal, which adds. I mean, it like there's cold weather gear, right, that the rest of you guys have on for the most part. But like this is even thicker. It seems to be somewhat reinforced. If you had to guess, it's a Yeti hide. Potentially. It is very thick, very strong. But yeah, I mean, a lot of them are like they seem to be focused more on flexibility in movement as opposed to armored with metal. So studded leather seems to be the order of the day for the most part.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, so you guys sort of land in the center. The 13 land a little ways away, and there's probably another 100 or so that are landing, while several others sort of overfly, keeping watch above. But the sun is now starting to set properly, and that's where we're going to pick up. So I think Ta is at this point. Ta is going to literally go sit down somewhere and start taking care of his weapons, and he's going to start a long rest considering his situation right now.
All right, Nix wants to run over to Ta and just kind of like throw half of her body into the bag of holding and like look around for I guess she'll grab some rations out of the bag.
Okay, yeah, sure, no problem.
And she'll just like, I think there's 8, right? Carillion had 8, so I guess Nix won't even like acknowledge anybody. She'll just like throw them at each party member.
just fastball pitching them at each person.
Yeah, like a deck of cards, just fucking. Yeah.
Just for clarification, are you tossing one at Anvil as well?
She stops for a second and she's like, "Do you eat?"
No.
Good, more for me. And then she'll put the ration in her bag.
That's fair. All right.
You're an odd one.
Which one?
Yes.
Yeah, that's literally my question back.
Fair enough. Okay, let's see here.
The furry head one.
Oh, you haven't even seen anything yet. Oh, I get weirder. It's okay. You'll get used to it.
Oh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Simply an
Uh,
observation.
Why, thank you. I appreciate that.
At the same time, not necessarily a good thing. We'll see.
You get a bitch face. She gives you a bitch face.
Sounds about right.
All right, so we're resting up and then heading out.
You
Again?
can, yeah, it's up to you guys. You can definitely see that a lot of the wyvern are sort of bedding down, considering. I mean, they've flown a huge amount of, flown and fought today.
Yeah.
So it's probably
Okay, so long rest
required.
then.
Yeah, you guys can take a long rest if you like.
Yeah.
Before I do
Okay.
that, I'm gonna go find
Yes.
like wherever they set up their triage,
Okay.
and go ahead and ask around if any of them they have any like people who are in bad shape.
Yeah, so you find a spot that's sort of off to the side, out a little bit, where, well, it's not exactly like a medical tent or anything like that. It's certainly a spot where people are, the injured are sort of congregating around a couple of clerics of Bahamut and asking if they could use some help. They accept, and there are a few people who have certainly taken, quite a beating considering what they were fighting.
Sweet. I want to burn the rest of my spell slots that I have,
Okay.
and just cast healing stuff.
Okay. So between you and them, you guys managed to sort of patch up for the most part. Quite a few people.
Yeah, I'll do it just for shiggles.
All right. Yeah. So you kind of, yeah, you definitely get sort of a, hey, thanks sort of thing, from very, very tired riders. A few potentially, like missing limbs here and there, which you can't necessarily do anything about, but you can certainly, close up those wounds and help remove tourniquets and fix up get the basics started. And they all basically say thank you, and um, yeah, most of them just end up saying thank you and then literally falling asleep, like right there. So there's that.
Nice.
Considering the day's activities.
And then I'm just do one quick circuit around the camp, see if I see anything like any interesting arms or armor. Besides, I'm gonna stay clear of the 13 giant fucking wyverns, and then go back
Okay.
to where the rest of the guys are holed up.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, it looks like a lot of people are just tired. For the most part, we'll say it takes you about an hour to sort of help patch people up and whatnot, and then another half an hour or so for walking around. As you sort of return back, you see several of the wyvern that were overflying, sort of in a circular pattern around the, I guess for lack of a better term, campsite. Begin to land, and another set take off and resume that post. So it seems like there's some sort of thing going on there.
Well, that's good. Yeah, at least they're watching around. Let's see. I guess at this point, Nyx would probably make sure everybody's together and stuff, and pretty much, I don't know. She would just kind of I guess have a little powwow and say, so we're I have an idea as to what we should be doing right now. So once we get back, we're gonna get our reward, hopefully, from doing this. And I feel like we should go back to Dragon's Mouth for several reasons. One is to bury our friend Carillion. The other is, I believe, Bramnik said he needed to go speak with a druid that lived there as well. And as far as like, spending our money, we kind of know the royalty in Dragon's Mouth, therefore we might get, better access or a discount or something, like it's good to know the higher ups over there, if you know what I mean. So really I feel like going there is the best bet. How's that sound with everybody? Everybody agree?
Sure. I guess.
Tin Man.
What I love about this is Zuzia is the only newest person, or like the oldest person currently here, because Belias isn't. So like Bramnik might. I think Bramnik would probably agree. Ta is literally just. He's literally put his shield up into the snow behind him, and is sleeping while leaning against it, so he's not going to answer. But like, yeah, everybody else hasn't. Other than Zuzi, I don't think any of you guys have been to Dragon's Mouth. Really?
Oh. All right, we're going to Dragon's Mouth once we get this reward.
Yay!
I've heard of Dragon's Mouth. It would be nice to see what they've got going.
Is
It's
it
pretty
warmer
nice.
than this place?
Very interested in
Everything's
those
warmer than here.
rifles the Marines use and those airships.
So we need to go get the boat first. So we need shit, where is the boat right now? What city?
Theocraty.
Oh, okay, so it's here. All right.
Well, no,
So-
it's not here. You guys are way the
Heading
hell up
there.
here.
Right,
Yeah,
right. But
and
it's
so
the
it's
holy
down in
city.
Theocraty last you guys checked anyway.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's down in Theocraty, and then you guys are up in the northern Weir, but there was that teleportation circle.
Yeah, that was
that
it.
brought
That
you
was what I
through.
was thinking about. Yes.
You just have to get back and
Okay.
get all that done. Wait, what did I put together?
The map.
Sorry, I just saw Twitch chat. Oh.
Yeah.
Tanaka helped a lot with this, so give credit where
what?
credit is due.
Fine, I
The
guess
world
Tanaka
map.
too.
Oh,
Yeah, I was having some issues with it, so he came in and he stepped in and helped me just sort of flesh it out and get it.
yeah. There's a
At least
couple areas
vaguely
that I'm not too happy with, but
Yeah,
It gets the message across, and that's the only thing that really matters.
Yep.
It
This is
works.
basically fantasy Australia.
All right, so that settles it then. We're getting this
with less
reward money,
prisons.
grabbing our ship, and heading to Dragon's Mouth. Yay.
okay,
And then I guess we'll do our rest.
okay. Anything anybody else wants to do?
Do you guys have a ship?
Yes.
What kind of ship?
You know what? No more questions. I don't like this. But yes, we have means of getting where we need to go, okay?
Anvil just kind of like hulls down, like just gets in a nice steady defensible stance, and then just stares at you while going into a long rest mode.
Okay.
Um,
What does that look like? Sort of like a crouch or something? I don't know.
Yeah, he just puts his shield over by his left arm while while it's down. Then he basically just takes a knee.
Okay, gotcha. So you see the Tin Man turn into a statue, essentially. A mechanical statue, but a statue nonetheless. As the, I would think that the, sort of orange embers sort of slowly lessen in intensity.
Until it's just a little
still
flicker.
there. Yeah, still there, but certainly less intense.
Nyx turns her head to the side really quick and tries to gauge what he's doing. Is he taking a poop?
I don't know, it kind of looks like a monkey fucking a football.
All right, I'm going to sleep now. I'm going to sleep.
I don't know what to think about that. But okay. So that happened.
Oh, before we head out, Nix wants to identify the ceremonial dagger.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry.
Yep.
Okay. So, what all did you get written down for the stuff that you found?
Okay, this is what I got.
Wait. I want to go first. I have 100 copper coins that I thought were gold coins.
Yes. Okay.
That's it.
All right. So there's a silver ornate box with gold inlay, superior
Right.
potion of healing, 2 platinum bars, 3 gems worth 500 each, 1 ceremonial dagger. Wait, hold on. Oh wait, no, it may not be ID'd. Okay, never mind. I didn't read it all the way. So it's just worth money.
Yeah, it's got a gem in it that's worth decent amount.
Okay. Oh, can I open the ornate box? Is there something?
Yes, you can.
I would like to open that.
Ooh.
Okay, so box is about
Row.
about a foot wide, right? And about 6 inches deep and about 6 inches tall. As you sort of open it up, you see a sort of a weird, how to explain this, leather sort of, you know those jewelry rests, right? That hold jewelry up or whatever for.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it's like that. Sort of made out of leather with beautiful inlays and things like that. And along there are 9 bracelets, each with a small black gem on it.
Ooh. Are they magical? Can I turn on Eldritch Sight and see if they're
Yes,
magical?
they are in fact magical.
Then I would like to identify one.
Okay, so you take one out and begin focusing on it, trying to figure out, okay, what is this thing? I think it's like a 10-minute cast or whatever, and as you sort of get to understanding it, this item, when worn, does not require attunement. However, it works as an extended message spell. These are essentially, how would I explain? They're sort of like Rocky Talkies, but only the wearer can hear whatever's being said.
Oh.
From sort of working with it, you get the idea that the range is about 1,000 feet. So not as long as the Rocky Talkies, but certainly there.
Okay.
Certainly decent. It's a good start. You can also notice that each one seems to be connected together, so that if you say something in one, all the others will hear it.
Cool. Okay. Neato. I will write that down. Okay. That's yeah, I think that's it for me.
Okay. There were 2 other pieces in the bag of holding. I will point out, just because I know Ta would have pointed it out, or
Oh,
Saber would have
magic
pointed it out.
things?
Yeah, there was a belt and a long sword.
Oh, sure.
that you
Okay.
guys
Yeah,
found.
I'll ID both of those.
Okay, so then which one do you want to go for first?
Let's go with the sword.
Okay, so you pull the sword out, start, your ritual with that. It's a 1.5 bastard sword, so it could be used with finesse. Interestingly, it would be kind of tricky. It would take some practice, but it is a 1d8 sword.
Mhm.
It is not a +1, but it is silvered. So that
Okay.
means that there is some sort of magical affinity to it. It is, interestingly, a long sword of dragon slaying, doing per hit 3d6 extra damage to dragons and dragonkin.
Interesting.
Specifically, it would be 3d6
Out
of the
of
weapon's
course.
type, so it would be slashing or bludgeoning or piercing.
Is it a force
Then
damage?
What's that?
Hold on, never mind. I'll just check myself.
Okay. It's my own. It's sort of a lesser version of the original dragon slaying sword, but it's there. It also seems to have, as you sort of pick it up, and so identifying is like almost attuning to it in a way, right? It's really
Okay.
getting an idea for it. You also get the idea that um, if a dragon or dragonkin is within 60 feet of the wielder, and it does require attunement.
Hello. Sorry.
Hey, no worries.
Taking off.
If a dragon or dragonkin is within 60 feet of the wielder, the blade itself will almost has an alarm spell type thing in it, so you'll know that there's a dragon within 60 feet of you. Whether or not that's a useful thing, I don't know, but it's there.
Okay.
It would
Cool.
be going off like a mofo right now.
What's that?
It would be going off like a mofo if somebody was attuned to
Mhm.
it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, it would, and in fact, Nix, you actually kind of feel it. Sort of, I mean, you know the location, the rough location, so you can almost see like these sort of wavy blue lines pointing out in different directions towards all the wyverns within 60 feet of you.
Nick just looks around like she's tripping for a second, just goes back to doing it. All right, I guess let's check out the belt next. Or last thing's the belt, right?
Yeah, the last thing that I remember is the belt.
Okay.
So the belt, it's a leather belt. It's got 3 hooks sort of on it, right? Along the left side. There are 3 small clasps. That would be the word that I'd want to use. And this is, and I'm straight up stealing this, but that's because it's awesome. This is a belt of returning. You may attach up to 3 things to this belt, and if thrown or not necessarily disarmed is slightly different, but that requires a DC 15 strength save to hold on to an item. But if let's say you throw something, it will return to this belt at the end of your turn.
Okay.
So daggers or stakes, or you could even
Gotcha.
do it with
Javelins?
arrows potentially. You could have several arrows or bolts. Now that doesn't mean that they won't break on impact, and then you've all of a sudden got broken arrows. But yes, it will return up to 3 items that are away from the belt or not currently being wielded by the person holding on, wielding the belt. It will return them to the belt at the end of the wielder's turn.
Cool. Alrighty. Got that all put in. Sweet.
Cool. Just wanted to make sure because I did remember that. Okay. Also, I will say this, Nix. You would know this, so I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. Each platinum trade bar is worth 500 gold.
Okay.
I don't remember if there was anything else that I didn't give you a value for, and I want to make sure that I do.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Let's see. I got the gems. I got those. Got the dagger. Potion of healing is self-explanatory. The only thing that's left is the box and the
box itself. Yeah. So the box itself, with your stealing and fencing sort of history, you get the idea that you could probably sell, if you wanted to just sell the box. You could probably get 100 gold for it.
Okay.
It's a nice box, but the material content isn't that high, and it's a little bit specialized, so it's a little bit, whatever. But You could probably fetch 100 gold, maybe a little bit more with some haggling, but you're not sure.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
I mean these are all base prices, and you never know exactly what you're going to get depending on where you're going. But yeah, I would say that you guys made a lot of money at the end of that.
No, we were still
Okay.
on the way back to the Weyr, Bramnik.
Yep. You guys, actually, if one of you guys wants to catch Bramnik up real quick, I'm totally down with that. And
Sure.
if you guys have any other RP you want to do, I am gonna go and get the cat to stop gnawing on my leg because I totally forgot to feed her, and she
No
is
worries.
making it very
job.
apparent right now.
Jeez, you're so mean to that cat. Poor thing.
Hey, Bramnik, are you up yet? You've been sleeping this whole time.
Yeah, just I'm just really exhausted.
Well, yeah, if I lost an arm, I probably wouldn't be too excited or energetic. I hear you.
Yeah, and Bramnik looks like visibly just defeated. Like you don't really see him mope about any, but he definitely looks defeated.
Well, we got a game plan. We're gonna go get this reward, grab the ship, and head to Dragon's Mouth so we can bury Carillion, and so you can talk to Grey Beard or whatever the fuck, whoever he is, that druid guy.
Where are we going?
We're going back to Dragon's Mouth. After we, no, not right. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Look, continue. So we're going back to the Weir, and then from there we're going.
Yes, we're going to the Weir. We're going to collect our reward for saving the princess, and then we're going to grab the boat and go to Dragon's Mouth so we can take care of some business.
Right, Carillion.
Yeah. That, and I figure if we go spend our money in Dragon's Mouth, we might get, a little bit of, I don't know, better deals, I guess, since we know the part of the
You
royalty
don't think
there.
Kiyokrati would give us amazing deals after
No,
saving
I
their
don't.
dragon princess?
No, I don't think this is a place to shop at all. We need to go back to Dragon's Mouth. I don't want to stay here any longer than they need to.
Oh, and if I remember, they had magical items and stuff. Alright, yeah, alright, I'm going back to sleep.
Okay, do you want your arm here? Do you want me to just put your arm on you so you can, like a blanket?
Don't I
It
have
is currently
strapped
encased in
around me?
in like a large block of ice.
Oh, is it? Oh.
I thought I made a sling from a cloak and
Yeah.
have it on my back.
I'll take the ice block and like put it on the ground. There you go. There's a pillow. Go to sleep.
Wait,
You're
we're
such a fucking
riding
asshole.
back, aren't we?
Yeah, we're taking a break right now. All the riders and
Okay.
wagons are resting. Zuzia, you all right? You okay there? Are you awake? I swear to fucking God. I swear to God. You're doing it, aren't you?
I can hear the packet loss from
Did
watching
it
too
take
many
a second for
streams.
it to me? I think
Yeah.
connection's not very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're-
lagging out.
Yeah,
Going robot.
it's Robo Giraffe. Shit.
Restart your Discord.
Turn off the prawn.
Oh, my ping is actually ridiculously high too. I think Raven might need to change the server.
I'm at 189 milliseconds. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's high. Why are we on an EU server? Oh, because it was right, Adrian.
196.
Where do you tell?
The
Just mouse over the
I
bars.
button next to voice connected at the bottom.
Oh, that's kind of depressing. There aren't a lot of Weapon enchantment options for warhammers, actually.
Okay, sorry about that.
Hey,
Got
buddy.
up and noticed how nasty. Okay, I'm gonna change our server location here. Hold on.
It's Brexit. Oh wow,
That
look at that.
should
Look at that brand spanking new 76 milliseconds.
Look at that brand new 11 milliseconds instead of
There you
130.
go.
Draffy, what are you at now? Draffy.
$63. Not bad.
Ooh. All the volumes are really low all of a sudden. Why? Alright. Yeah, no, I got up and realized just how nasty this particular autoimmune flare is, so I needed to make myself an ice pack real quick.
No
It is what it
worries.
is. Yeah. All right. So, hopefully that gets everybody caught up to about where we're at now.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So you guys are currently in a clearing. Oh, evil stuff. Typing. Any better, evil?
Evil Giraffe is typing.
Yes, she is.
Ta walks up to Zuzia, punches her in the face, knocks her out, and she's good for the rest of the session.
Yep, that's her long rest.
It wouldn't be, actually.
I think.
When was the last?
Wait, we can hear you.
Hello?
Talking now? It's like taking like a minute to unmute me and connect me and stuff too.
Oh yeah, that might just be your.
I'm gonna restart my computer real quick. I think my internet's
Okay.
Maybe your router as well.
Yeah, I was going to say restart your router if you haven't done that in a while.
on like other places too. I did it like a day or two ago because my internet went out at like midnight for some reason. All right, I'll be.
We'll see you. We'll see you in a bit.
It's like.
All right. I doodle dicks all over her forehead.
Yeah, you're not gonna beat her perception.
Nope.
She's gonna know. So whatever.
I told them that Bramnick looks like just visibly defeated and exhausted. Like he usually doesn't look sad or upset or anything, but they could tell like something's wrong. He's super upset.
So I guess we're good to go. We've all done our stuff, I think.
Yep, you can take that long rest.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah. So I'd say if you guys want to take a long rest, you can. I mean, it's not exactly the most restful rest considering the situation and sounds of people in pain around you, but it's restful enough to serve its purpose. So you guys regain half your hit dice, hit dice totals, and yeah,
All our spell slots.
all your spell slots.
And when we awake, fucking shit. All right, since I have the spell slot now, what? What? Okay, so I'm just gonna fucking try it. I'm gonna find Bramnick, and I'm just gonna well, literally talk down to him. But I'm gonna ask him. I may have a way to put your arm back on, but I am not sure if it will work or not. I would need to attempt to cast a greater restoration right on your arm area where it's off.
Can I make a medicine check to know if that would even be?
How? Yeah. You could do that. Look this up myself really quickly. So glad I have this huge freaking database of spells here available to me quickly.
Like, I know they did that in Roll20 or not, or in Critical Role.
They did?
Someone's, yeah. You might not be up to that part if you're watching the series now, but
Huh.
Jeez, spoilers.
sorry.
Jeez.
Okay.
But it was something that took like months of in-game time.
Yeah.
Oh, like, okay, so for, are you talking about when
Vax.
Yeah,
kicked
Vax lost
his-
his toes.
Yeah, like half his foot was missing.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. Okay. I mean, I would say.
Because if it just
Yeah,
takes a
go
greater
ahead and
restoration...
go ahead and make me a medicine check if you want to cast it. Bramnick, you would know that stuff like that can happen, but it's a slow and arduous process. And I mean, if it was, if it was like a finger or a toe or something like that, it would be a week, maybe 2. But a whole arm would be a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, technically it wouldn't be regrowing it, it's just reattaching it, right?
No, I don't. I mean, you could try doing it that way too, but that would be really difficult.
Oof. Alright, I'm gonna cast it just to see what happens. Do I get advantage if Bramnick's helping me?
No.
Alright.
You're the one casting the spell.
I'm just gonna look at Bramnick like, do you want to do this?
I mean, you can try. It's not gonna fix it immediately. I think it's gonna be something that's gonna take a long, long time to do.
Don't you have to get
Months
that
of
arm
casting.
out of the ice cube anyways?
Yeah. Plus the
Depending on
arms-
how you want to try to do it. If you want to try to reattach, that's a sort of a different beast altogether. If you want to try to regrow, that could potentially work, but it would be a slow process.
Yeah, the arm's currently in a giant block of ice, so
Yes. Actually, speaking of which, considering how long you've traveled and all, you might want to refreeze it. It's been in that block of ice for a while in the bag of holding, I believe. Or in maybe the other bag. I don't remember.
In the
we'll
cloak.
just create some water around it. And
Yeah. I mean, it's not hard to do. You could easily just melt some water down really quick and then, pour it on. And then it'll freeze on its own in almost no time.
Yeah, I'm literally kneeling there, looking at you, like, do you want to do this?
let's just hold off until we get back. Maybe we could talk to some of the clerics and healers and see if they have any ideas or might be able to help you with it. I don't think doing it now is really going to do much.
Very well. And I'll just stand back up and
Thank you, though.
back off. And I'm gonna go ahead and ask Nyx what was in the box. Just kind of quietly up to the side.
What?
What was in the box?
Why do you want to know? Okay. I don't think you're familiar with the group and how we work and stuff, but you don't question Nyx. That's pretty much rule 1. Okay?
I'm interested in magical items and items of power.
Oh, that's really cool. I hope you get one someday.
Jesus Christ. I'm not going to give anything away, but I'm really interested in what's going to happen when Nyx does the thing finally. This is going to be really weird.
Oh, I've got shit written down for that.
Okay. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep staring at her because she's a weird firehead lady.
Fair enough.
I'll just shrug. All right.
So we good to go?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's the morning. You guys get in a long rest. You can see several of the riders sort of mounting up and doing sort of increasingly high passes in the air. Over the course of the night, you could hear the sounds of fighting a little ways off, seemingly cleaning up some of the rocks or whatever was in the air or on the ground or whatever. But you guys load up if you want to, and begin your flight to the Northern Weir proper.
Nick,
Yes.
will you help tie me
Yay.
off?
What?
Will you tie me off to the thing, to the rider help, please?
Wow.
It's very difficult to just hold on with,
He is missing an arm.
No.
One of the riders would actually help you if you wanted.
Yeah. Ask him. Fucking ask me for
Alright.
fucking shit. I got little noodle arms, and you're fucking asking me to pick your big ass.
All right. Well, you guys all head off towards the Northern Weir. We're gonna montage this a little bit because it's a long trip. But as you guys clear the sort of area, the forest area where you guys landed, it becomes a much more mountainous, broken up terrain. Lots of ravines and crags, and all sorts of odd bits and bobs along the terrain. But you all fly pretty much straight to the Northern Weir. Lots of wyvern sort of catch up to you and fall into formation. You'll see groups split off to go and deal with a problem here or there, whatever. But it takes the better part of the day. You guys land at 6 or 7 at night, so it's evening. You guys can see the weir ahead. Easily 100 wyvern sort of on top, guarding the weir itself, as you can see. What you couldn't see before, considering you were leaving, or underneath it really, is that you saw the one sort of tunnel, right, that the queen was in.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
You're good.
Okay.
All right. Yay.
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 Nobody drew dicks on you or anything.
The internet is for fun.
One of them tried, but
Oh god.
I figured your perception would be good enough that they were not going to get away with it.
Nice. Yeah, I probably drew.
But you guys see that there are several of those sorts of caves throughout that entire mountain there, and you guys land into the Queen's cave with the young queen following close behind.
Oh wait, before we even get there, Nyx wants to use Mask of Many Faces to disguise herself as like a red-haired elf.
Okay. I mean,
At the weir?
Well, from now on, pretty much, yeah.
You're in trouble in Keokrati, not the weir.
What?
Oh. Okay, I guess not yet.
wait. Okay. Explain to
Hold
me the
on.
logic behind this.
Nyx doesn't want to get caught from stealing that book from that fucking priestess bitch.
Oh, right. Okay. I know what you're talking about now.
We are
I'm
we are
sorry, I was
riding
like,
Oh,
we are riding in the middle of a giant formation of wyvern riders.
and they all know what you look like anyway, because you haven't been doing that up until now. So I don't know that it would help you much.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
not yet. Yeah, not yet.
Okay. So, yeah, I was gonna say it's probably not gonna be that effective, but you can do it. I mean, whatever works. So you guys all start. You can see wyverns landing in various caves on top of the mountain as well. You guys go into the queen's chamber, or queen's cave, I guess. And yeah, so you are finally back from, I guess, hell. Hell might have been the frozen hell version.
Yeah, the ninth circle.
Yeah, yeah. And the riders sort of dismount and look to you, help you guys get down. The young queen immediately sort of perks up and walks on her own over towards over to the chamber with, or over towards her I guess mother, where you can see sort of this hyper protective wyvern sort of swing around her and literally create her using her body as a wall, and takes her all the way back to the rear wall and begins sort of like cleaning her and stuff like that. But yeah, even Orlin sort of, you do see Orlin there. She sort of like steps just inside of that sort of protectorate circle, and the queen sort of turns around and Orlin sort of takes a step back, recognizing that maybe now's not the time.
Mama
But
cat's not happy.
yeah, no, not. I mean, happy, but also ridiculously protective right now. But a few minutes later, Orlin and Uthal sort of usher you off towards that small room, with food and all that, or the interior area again. And yeah, that's where we're gonna pick up again. Trying to find. I have too many maps. This is something I have learned. Far too many maps, but that's okay. They're all vaguely useful. Anyway, yeah. So, and then Ta had a thing that he wanted to do, and I want to make sure that that gets done. I think Ta's actually going to go sort of off to the side and work on updating Saria, as he did get a message from her on the sending stone. I think, yeah, he's going to update there, and I'll come back to him in just a minute. All right?
Okay.
So, if there's anything you guys want to do.
Eat
There is hot food and claw
real food.
there, real food, yep. There is like steamed fruits and vegetables. That is it's the first time you guys have had like warm food in your bellies, really, in essentially a week. Basically, it's actually been like 5 days, I think, total, because you had the one on the way in to get to before you took off, then the one in transport, then 3 days there, and then a day back. So 6 days. It's been almost a week.
Nyx is shoveling all that food in her face.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of it, and you can see like out in the main chamber, right, where all the wyvern are. There are huge bonfires that get lit up to accommodate all the other people as they begin cooking up, large amounts of food for everybody. But yeah, so a few a little while goes by, and while Ta is working on his thing, you guys, yeah, Orlin sort of walks up to you, and up to all of you, and says, "It's good to see you back, and in mostly one piece. However, where's the Dragonborn?"
We all didn't come back. We lost him. He passed away.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that. Well, if there's anything we can do, I'm happy to help, but I don't know if there is anything that we can do. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. It's been hard on us, but we still have yet things to do to honor him. So that's on the agenda. But yeah, we were thinking of heading back to our ship and sailing off, and pretty soon. Who do we talk to about the reward?
I believe Neil would be the one to talk to.
Okay.
He runs nowadays he runs most of the treasury as well as the base city guard. He's still a rider.
Okay, so should we talk to the guard first? Like, do we need permission to collect, or can we just go straight to the treasure? Will he be expecting us?
I would speak to him once you return back to Kiokrati.
Fair enough.
My job is not really to do with those sorts of things, to be honest.
Understandable. Thank you for the information.
No problem.
Who do we talk to about using the teleportation circle to get back?
Well, we can do that in the morning, no problem. I can cast the spell. No problem at all.
Excellent.
Well, wake me when it's time to go, and I'm just gonna go find my way back to my little barracks room or wherever I was staying at before.
Oh yeah, it wasn't your room; it was Lucian's room.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna go and crash in Lucian's old room?
Yep.
Okay. When you get there, you. Okay. As you sort of walk over to the door, like nobody's really paying attention. Everybody's just sort of recovering at this point. So at least all the the riders and stuff, Uthal and Orlin, sort of asking about what happened and all. You find out that Orlin had been using the scry spell a lot over the course of the day, which is why she can't cast the spell right now to get you guys back to the city. However, as you open the door, you see an elven man in full sort of studded riding leathers with ornate filigree on them. Apparently this is his office when he's in the Northern Weir, and yeah, so you just sort of open the door and he sort of whips around and looks at you.
Can I help you?
May I help you? This is my office.
Oh,
It's also my room when I'm here.
sorry about that. Then I have the wrong room. I was also using this room. That's fine. All right, no problem. I'll find somewhere else to sleep. Sorry about that.
While this is
He
going
just
on,
sort of looks at you like, okay, this is awkward, and I don't know if I want to talk about it anymore. So he just sort of turns back to what he was doing.
Kind of do that like awkward back away.
Back out of the
close
way.
door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
while this is going on, I do want to fill in Orlin and I guess I'll ask around and see who else is in charge, and just tell them that Koenig the White was actually a beholder,
Okay.
and
At
just
that
like
point,
some sort of shit he was doing while I was down there for the while I was.
okay. Yeah, you would have seen him basically creating those abominations, doing experiments with living beings, basically ripping the wings off rocks and attaching them to giants and adding metal plates to rocks and just sort of, again, experimenting with whatever he had on hand.
Experimenting with life.
Well, with a lot of things, yeah. Let's see. You were there for a bit. You wouldn't have. The cone of silence actually would have made it so you wouldn't have heard anything, but you would have seen things. Not cone, but the.
Yeah,
know,
just what I saw while I was down there.
Yeah, you. Since you get this, and I'll bring you up to speed because we didn't really talk about it too much. You would have seen Koenig speaking to, because you were there for what, like a week, something
Yeah.
like that. I think we agreed on.
The upper limit of a week, yeah. Maybe
Yeah, like
5 days.
4 or 5 days. Yeah. You did in fact see a figure sort of cloaked in dark gray robes, speaking to Koenig. He was flanked on either side by other black-robed figures, which you now might recognize as the Mind Flayers. And he left, but they stayed. You also saw.
Did I see the egg?
You did not.
Uh,
Yeah, he brought in the cage with the young queen in it, but not the egg. You also you didn't see anyone else, so you saw what everyone else. I'm assuming you sort of explain what you saw, so everybody else could be listening.
yeah.
The rest of you would recognize that figure as the dealer, definitely. But no sighting by Gad of the of Alana or of the blue-skinned Genasi.
Yeah, Nyx probably wouldn't mention the Genasi, or make sure that it's not mentioned. But yeah, she would probably mention that we've dealt with the dealer before and he's currently on our to-do list.
I love the thought. Sorry.
I'm also gonna request to see if I can get any like really cheap like rock or metal or whatever material I can to use in my in like a small communion area.
Okay. What exactly are you asking for?
Just like a rock, something cheap, something cheap and
Okay.
sturdy,
I mean,
some sort of
sure,
like building material.
there are rocks outside. Sure.
And yeah, just a location for me to like do a quick prayer.
The flying kind.
Well, there's that too. No, most of those, considering the 2,500 wyverns currently here, most of those have been cleared out of the area pretty effectively for the moment. Yeah. But yeah, currently, yeah, I mean, there'd be some stones around. I'm sure they'd be willing to give you one, maybe like a 1 foot rough diameter stone. Sure.
All right, yeah. I'm just gonna go find a nice quiet place for prayer and use Artisan's Blessing to craft like a statue of. I mean, it'll take an hour, so it's like a statue of our fight with the Beholder, or just
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, you kind of do like a mini, almost diorama out of stone, slowly shaping it into the proper forms and all. Give me a crafting check with what you've got if you want to. See how, like, you're going to make something that you'll recognize, but I'm wondering if anybody else will really recognize it as that.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't know what Artisan's Blessing does necessarily. I don't remember.
Let me pull it up.
I
Artisan's Blessing
haven't
can
dug
create
into
a
your-
simple item worth 100 gold pieces or less. Can be exact duplicate of any item in my possession or not. That's it. That's the limitations on it.
Okay. So yeah, you spend an hour working on it, and you do create sort of a diorama. It's pretty intricate. I mean, it's not like you can't really like get the individual features of the faces down or anything like that, but looking at it based on the size of each person in relation to each other and all, like anyone who knows who these people who you guys are would know which ones you were. But yeah, you spend an hour doing that, and you come out with a pretty nice looking product.
And I'm just gonna end with a thankful prayer to Moradin for bringing help when at the time, and yeah, thank you for the help in the fight.
For a second, you sort of feel the as you sort of finish that short prayer, you feel the Morden's fire in your chest sort of pulse for a second. A little bit of, it's weird. It's not really warmth, because you're not really good at noticing warmth or cold, but exactly, or at least but you definitely feel sort of like a little pulse in the Morden's fire as it sort of warms up for a second and then fades back to its normal cold fire state.
I want to try to find actually like a healer of sorts. I know he's a healer, but I want like
Okay.
maybe go to the infirmary.
Like an actual medic.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, if you want to ask around maybe to Uthal or Orlin, yeah, you would they would call over a dragon rider to you and have that rider sort of take you. So initially you guys walk into, the Wyvern Cave. So you see probably on the order of 60 to 70 wyverns in here. And there are small tunnels, slightly, they're like Toss-sized tunnels, right? Sort of cut into the rock at various places, and he leads you through one to another wyvern tunnel. And you guys head towards the back, and at the back, you actually see one of those silver blue wyverns, just one, in the back, having the saddlebags pulled off. You notice, just sort of walking by, you notice that it's a female rider pulling these saddlebags off, and they are mostly empty now. But you can see this sort of yellow-green stone is what it looks like, little bits, more, like rubble. And not much of it, but some of it sort of falls out as she manages to get the bag onto the floor.
Pick it up and what's
You want to get that close to one of these wyverns? You're probably 100 feet away, maybe more.
Oh.
The saddlebag is about 5 feet from the wyvern, they're heavy, like thick leather, right? Well maintained, but certainly they're not like ornamental or ornate or anything like that. These things are built to last, right? So like it's easily an inch thick of leather, if not more, heavily stitched.
I was like passing like 5 feet by.
No. This is actually, interestingly, this is at the very back of the cave. There's another tunnel attached, right, towards the back. But you guys are probably about 100 feet away, and he's just sort of the half elf that is leading you. That's just part of where the path took him.
Well, I'll ask him as we walk by. What's that green stone?
Firestone. It is Well,
So,
do you know how? Actually, as you guys continue the walk, you actually then go from that chamber into what looks like a complex of the smaller tunnels. Right, it's no longer the large wyvern caves, but into a complex of smaller tunnels, and he starts to kind of explain to you. It's called Firestone. Wyverns and dragonkin are obviously related. Um, well, wyverns and dragons. Wyverns being a lesser species. Most have lost their ability to breathe fire if they ever truly had it, but many have vestigial organs for lighting the gases that dragons produce to create their fire or acid or whatever. They just cannot actually secrete those materials. That firestone, when broken down in the stomach or into um, the chamber that is normally used for that is no longer able to be used for that by most wyvern, by any that I know of, allows them to breathe fire.
oh. So you feed
Unfortunately,
it
it
to
also.
them and then they.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't ride a silver blue, but it is. My understanding is it's a bit like chewing something up and then regurgitating it.
Ugh.
It's, from my understanding, it's not actually painful. It is somewhat uncomfortable, as one might guess. But that is my understanding. However, only certain wyvern can even do it, and of those, the firestone has an effect. It's a caustic mixture, as one might guess, if it's explosive. And only certain wyvern are truly capable of using it without damaging themselves in the process to such an extent as to potentially kill themselves.
Are the stones highly volatile?
The stones themselves are not. However, when ground down and combined with essentially wyvern stomach acid, it creates that volatile compound.
Okay. So you couldn't use the stone itself as, like, say, an explosive.
I suppose if you had because it's a two-part system, right? So if you had the stone and you had I suppose a vial of stomach acid, and you were to crack that vial over the top of the stone, it would produce the explosive mixture. You could then light that and have that be quite an explosion. However, on its own, it is not volatile enough to explode.
Okay.
And it's also very difficult to come across. It's part of why we settled near Kiokrati. They have a large vein, well, several, outside of the city that we mine ourselves to provide just in case we ever, well, as you saw today, it's a very potent weapon, but it
Literally
is,
melted those abominations.
yes, it's very effective. The downside is that it's very, very hard to get a hold of. So we do our best to use it sparingly, and only the, well, I suppose it'd be called sub-queens, can actually do it.
Oh, thanks for all that information.
Oh, well, considering that I have been dealing with Mr. Amer lately, I've heard this 1,000 times, and I just sort of become absorbed via osmosis. I don't mind telling you about it.
Who's Mr. Amer?
He
Get all the
is
info from this one guard.
well, not all of it, but yeah, he's he fancies himself a bit of a scientist, and is always looking. He's sort of how would I explain this? He's not exactly a rider. He's never been a rider, but he was the person to first pioneer Firestone about 150 years ago, 200 years ago.
He's old.
He's well, his family was anyway, and he's constantly trying to improve upon the process, trying to find new ways to use things. And I got stuck escorting him around as he went to various locales looking for more Firestone. And my God, the man talks.
All right. Well, I guess onwards to the infirmary.
Actually, we're actually here, and as you sort of round the corner, you see this large, sort of, it's a square room with rounded corners, right? Slightly pitched ceiling, and a lot of beds sort of there. There are several clerics, priests of Bahamut in there, sort of trying to help, the injured. Now that they're actually able to have, a little bit more regulated medical care instead of field care. Going past people, and actually, yeah, you spelled that exactly right, by the way. Gamer.
Thanks for the escort.
Sure. Well, these tunnels are very confusing. So, on your way back, and he sort of points to the side of the wall, and you can see this very thin line, right? There are 14 very thin lines across the walls and ceiling and floor. One's gold, one's sort of like a silver, one's a blue, various colors.
Right.
He simply points to the gold one and says, if you follow this back, it will get you to where it is you need to go. However, getting 2 places this way doesn't really work, but it will help you get back to the Queen's chamber, at least. I'm
Okay.
sure you can figure out where the door is from there.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
No problem. And then you just sort of see, like, this look on his face for a moment. Now I have to go back. This was a nice, brief respite, and I thank you for that. But
And
back
you're
to the
more than welcome to hang out with me. I'm gonna like take my nub out from underneath my cloak and be like, I'm just gonna make sure this isn't getting infected.
Well, unfortunately, if I spend any more time, well, I'm afraid he'll blow himself up, honestly. So I'm probably going to have to go. So, thank you, and well met, and thank you for bringing back the Queen.
Hey, well,
means a
it's all on a day's work, or a week's work, I guess.
It seems so. Anyway, I will. I hope to meet you again.
Yeah, easy. What was your name, sir?
My name is Theodwin.
Theowen.
Theodwin.
Right.
So,
Theowen. I am Bramnick.
I'll just post this here. That's the name.
Theodwin. Okay. He's just a simple guard who's been escorting.
Yeah, he's sort of a guard / aide / tour guide for Amer. That would be the way that I would describe it. He's sort of, yeah, he kind of does all the things for Amer because
Okay.
somebody has to,
Right.
and he's the one that got stuck with a job for whatever reason.
The prime assistant or caretaker.
Yeah, it's more like babysitter. Like that would really be the best way to describe it. He's Amer's babysitter because Amer is a little
Like an old person's
A
caretaker.
little loopy.
Just...
he's well, I would say from what you've heard of him, you understand he's probably ridiculously smart. The problem is he's also very from the other things that you've heard, he's probably also reckless as hell. So, you know,
Okay. I'm gonna look for. I don't know. I want to look for a semi-attractive, like nurse, quote unquote. Like,
sure there are I mean, most of the people here, I mean, it depends on what you just, you know,
Fucking
decide is
horn
attractive,
dog.
but there are several female clerics here who elven or half elven in nature, sort of dodging between beds, just trying to get everybody all right for the most part. You can see two of them sort of taking a break off to the side, and then one of them sort of somebody sort of raises their hand, and one of them sort of runs off for a moment.
uh, I'll just approach one that looks maybe the least busy.
Okay, yeah, you can see one that's sort of on break in a way, but like, sort of not so much on break as just taking a breather for a moment. But as you sort of walk towards her, she seems attentive. Like, I mean, she sees you, potentially sees the nub of your arm, and just sort of actually kind of would wave you over if she did, and you're like, hey, yeah, what's up?
I don't mean to interrupt your break, and I'll pull out my flask of claw. Be like,
Okay.
would you care for a drink?
She sort of like looks around really quick, right, around the room or whatever, and says, the rule, if you have enough, you have to share with everyone, so follow me. And she
Sure.
sort of ducks down the hallway and then pulls out a small, almost collapsible cup of her own and says,
Oh.
I would love some.
Yeah, I'll fill her up.
All right.
All right,
Yeah.
sure, yeah, use that terminology.
Yeah, right. That's maybe not the best, but whatever. But yeah, so but she sort of sips at it for a moment, and then I think, yeah, I think you'd see at the bottom of, so it's a 3-segment cup, right? It normally like folds down to about the size of a hockey puck. So she sort of popped it out so that it's full height or whatever, and then you see a little like dial, almost looks like a watch, twisty pin thing. She sort of flicks that for a second, and then you can start to see steam rising from the claw. She just
That
goes, much
is
better.
amazing. Where do I find one of those?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure. It was given to me as a gift a long time ago.
Oh, that was very handy.
But I did acquire it in Praven, actually, when I was there.
Okay.
Very, very long time ago.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, but I'm part of the group of adventurers that's responsible for bringing back the young queen.
Oh, bragging much, but yes, I know who you are.
No, well, hence the injury here, and I'm not
Right.
much of a cleric myself. I did manage to stop the bleeding and all that, but I just want to make sure it doesn't get infected. And
Right. Well, let's have a look then. And she sort of sets the cup down off to the side for a moment, and it checks over the wound and all, and seems to cast, or not so much cast, but uses her own magic to help diagnose the wound. And after a couple of minutes, says, well, I mean, it's not going to, unless you have some odd mutant powers, it's not going to grow back, but it doesn't seem to be infected. And then she sort of like taps the very bottom, right, of where the wound is.
it's probably
And
painful.
actually, it's not.
Oh.
You don't feel anything at all. And she sort of like looks over it for a moment and says, "Seems you have some neurological damage here.
Oh
Um,
no.
It's not the worst. It will take some time to fix. If I don't know if you can or if someone else can, but a simple lesser restoration over it will take likely a week or so, if not more, to repair some of this damage. It won't be much.
And that's just to fix the nerve damage, huh?
Well, I suppose if you don't want it, I mean, it could be useful to not have any feeling there, as you could, I don't know, I suppose punch someone with the stub, and you wouldn't feel it, but also it reduces the chance of you ever reattaching or, I mean, admittedly, most people that lose their limbs don't get anything reattached. There is an industry, of course, in Luthadel that helps with that. They can build a mechanical prosthesis that gets added to uh, to an individual. It's magical in nature. We have a few individuals that have had that operation done, but you do need the nerves there to help control the appliance itself.
Right. Well, that's useful information. Thank you. But as of now, I don't need to worry about any infections or anything.
It doesn't seem that way. As far as I can tell, the wound was closed quickly. I'm not really one. What I can say is there are no physical diseases or infections or things of that nature, and I don't exactly detect any, say, curses, although it seems it's odd, I suppose, but it seems that whatever has transpired has created or well, how would I explain this best? When you heal an individual, their body knows what is meant to be there. So when you heal a wound, the body knows, okay, well, we're going to close up this hole and make it what it once was. Your body, for whatever reason, has, for a lack of a better way to put it, chosen or decided or lost the memory of this arm.
Huh. Huh. Well,
I don't know exactly why that would be, but that seems to be the case.
well, what time is it? Okay.
Currently, well, you guys landed. I'd say you guys spent 30 minutes talking with people a little bit, sort of updating. And then you sort of took off, partway through that. You guys landed around 7, so I'd say it's like 8:30. I mean, the sun's down
Okay,
here
so
in the
it's
north.
nighttime.
It's definitely nighttime. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not like super late, but it's definitely yeah.
Well, what's your name, miss?
Ah, yes. Let's see here. I got her name here. Sorry,
I'm gonna
I
ask
had to
you
find it again. I knew
Yeah.
you were gonna ask, and then I quickly grabbed it, and then I literally looked at a different page all of a sudden. Yes, my name is Soliania.
Celiania?
Most people just call me Sola.
Sola? Well, perhaps when you finish your shift, you could join me for another class, and I'll druid craft her a flower and say thank you.
She sort of smiles and says, "Unfortunately, I just started my shift, so perhaps in the morning, if you're still around."
I know we'll be leaving fairly early back for Kyokrati, but yes, perhaps.
Well, I'll make sure to at least attempt to swing by. Give me. I mean, because it sounds like you're kind of eyeing her up. I want you to give me a.
It's an abomination.
It'll be an investigation.
Investigation.
Actually, a dude.
It's a trap.
No. You actually notice, 'cause she's wearing, sort of, actually very similar studded leather to the riders. A little bit less crazy, but it seems like that seems to be like the general uniform here is sort of, armored or whatever. And actually, based on some of the wear marks, you get the idea that she could be a rider or maybe rides with. You did see a few individuals, with 2 people on the backs of wyverns.
Yeah.
But on her left wrist, you see a tattoo. It's pretty small, which is why I wanted you to roll, and it was good. It was a DC 17, so you got lucky. You see how? Yeah, give me a history check.
Oh, all these things I'm terrible at.
Yeah, I know, but
You
okay. So you recognize the symbol kind of, but you just don't know what the hell it is. It's not clicking as to what or whatever. You at least find it interesting enough to take note, probably.
I'll ask
It
her.
is a symbol of a diamond, right? With like spiky bits coming out of it.
Diamond with spiky bits.
Let me see if I can get a picture here because I have one.
Where is it located? You said it's on her wrist?
It's sort of like on the inner wrist, right?
Okay.
Okay. So this isn't a really great image, but this is the shape. Let me grab. Oh, I can't do it that way. Okay. There you go. Image a new tab. There we go. Okay. I'll just post this to Discord here for you guys. It's kind of that sort of shape.
Okay.
The top one.
The top one.
More. But yeah.
Just Sully, that's a interesting tattoo. Do you mind me asking what it represents?
Like she's sort of surprised that you even saw it. She quickly pulls her the sleeve down a little bit to cover it up, but she sort of smiles at you and says, just just a close friend, I suppose. Seeming to, yeah, and you can kind of see she kind of gets a little bit guarded, not like in a mean way or whatever, but
Yeah.
just
Like she doesn't want
kinda-
to talk about it, kind of.
yeah, not like she's mad or anything like that. Just more of a, you don't know. It's she has this sort of wistful smile on her face, but it's not. She doesn't look angry. She just looks, like I said, somewhat guarded.
Okay. Fair enough. And I can't remember. Did I say I drew it, crafted her a flower?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I should probably get back to my companions. Been much help, and I'll definitely keep in mind Luthadel.
Yes, it could be useful for you. Who knows? Either way, have a good night.
You too.
Mine's just starting, but
Try not to work too hard.
I always try. I never succeed.
And I'll just give her my skin of claw. Like,
Okay.
You'll need this more than I do tonight.
Fair enough. All right. So then she sort of, you hear somebody, call her name, and she just sort of tucks the claw, skin onto her belt, and then takes off.
A little happier now. She was very nice and pretty. And I'll try to follow the gold line back to where I need to go.
Okay. It's a little bit weird to do, but you managed to do it no problem. It's
almost
not
like some hospitals have like the lines on the floor that
Yeah.
direct you to.
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
I'd say,
Actually.
follow the wall with your left hand, but...
Yeah, but yeah, so you follow it back relatively easily. It's not too crazy.
Well, looks like the place that I was trying to sleep tonight is in use. Where are we sleeping?
Actually, you notice that at that point, or actually, everybody else, what have you been doing while Bramnick has been off gallivanting around?
How long has it been? Have I finished my 1 hour
All
thing?
told, the whole walk, all that stuff, I would say it took the better part of an hour for him to go and come back.
Yeah, I would have just found an empty spot in the dining hall or barracks and just
Okay.
sat and listened.
Okay. Anyone else?
Lucian will have taken Nyx aside and started teaching her the tiny hut spell.
Ooh.
Okay.
Nyx happily accepts.
So to
They
do
said that they
that,
would do it.
yeah, to do that, you're gonna need to essentially, teach her how to use it, and next you'll have to copy it into your spell book in the end. That's it's a relatively expensive spell comparatively. So I don't know how much materials you have for that, but you could certainly start copying it with, and Lucian, if you are helping,
Yeah.
then what that'll do is it's still gonna be the same materials cost, but we'll cut like 15 minutes. It'll only take maybe half the time to
Okay.
copy stuff down because you're, pointing out like, nope, do that, nope, that what goes over there. Yep. Okay.
Here's how you translate it.
Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that. Even though I could fucking comprehend shit, but whatever.
Well, no, his spell book's in its own language.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so that's actually something pretty typical.
Yep.
Is people will copy their own spells into their spell book, in their own shorthand or whatever else.
Gotcha. Okay.
For security purposes in some cases, and in some cases it's like if
Just
the
to
dude
be a
speaks
dick.
abyssal, if the guy only speaks abyssal, guess what? His spellbook's going to be in abyssal, not common.
Yeah.
Whereas some people like to to do it in their own shorthand because it's easier or whatever. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just put it in a paper copy list.
Okay. Yeah, you could start doing a paper copy for sure. But at what level is that spell?
Third.
Okay, so third level. So it would take you guys an hour and a half to even write it as a paper copy.
Well, is it possible to put it down now? Like, we probably don't have the materials on hand, right?
I don't know. What do you guys have?
I just have a
How much ink do you have?
component pouch.
I thought you grabbed
I thought
some
you picked
inks.
up some ink before we left.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I've
yes.
got ink and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I
you
got
should buy like
yeah,
20 gold of fucking magical inks.
I bought 200. Yeah, I have 3 ink pots left.
Okay. That's just enough to copy that particular spell down if you want to.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's one pot basically per
Per-
spell level,
Gotcha. Okay.
and 1 hour typically of writing per spell level. However, with the help from Lucian, we'll cut that down to about 30 minutes per spell level. So you can do it in an hour and a half. You can have that in your book.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I'll just use that then. I'll write
Okay.
them off my inventory.
All right. So you now have Liamon's tiny hut as a ritual that you can cast.
We could make a little village.
Huh. That,
Oh shit.
I wonder, could 2 people cast a spell like it's got what, a 10-foot radius?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you
Cast
saying
it-
could you cast it so that
Basically-
they slightly overlap?
Yeah.
Huh.
That would require an Arcana check, probably.
I don't know, because it's okay. Here's what I would say. Oh, that's a tough one. I would think that if you guys chose to cast them, because the problem is, right?
I'm
that it
just not
says
sure
no-
if that's possible, like
right,
through the rules.
right, and looking at the spell, it says no magical effect can enter or exit the thing, so that makes me think that the magic of that would end. However, potentially with an Arcana check, right?
Yeah.
And both of you allowing the other, having it on, sort of allowing to cast, right? Or to both of you to go into each of your tents and everybody else. You could potentially do something. We could come up with something.
Cool. Yeah,
I think-
that just popped in my head. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, I wonder.
I think that it would be something that you guys might have to practice, and you'd have to
Yeah.
cast it at the same time, or else one of them would supersede the other.
Makes sense.
Oh god, I could just see the both of them just like conspiring in the corner, like, oh my god, what if we do this?
Yeah. It's actually making me think, like, what if you did it the other way and had one, like, if you
One
only
inside
had, like,
the
a
other?
10
Oh, we know that
No.
won't work.
one on top of the other, basically, but flipped so that it becomes a sphere.
Hmm.
That would be weird. It wouldn't be. It can't move. We know that.
No.
But like, if you had a single platform, you could make something kind of interesting with that. That's interesting. All right. So that's what you guys are working on, and you're sort of explaining the finer points and all. Wynn is sleeping peacefully on your shoulders at this point because he's a little tuckered out.
Yep.
Uh,
Even though
considering
it hasn't been used like at all.
no, but I mean he's
But-
had to keep up with you guys, and then the wind hitting him a lot, and it's just been a long day. He's tired. Meanwhile,
It's almost purring.
if only little dragon familiars could. Oh, that's okay. So, in that case, so Gad, you're sort of going into semi-shutdown mode. Zuzia, anything you want to do?
Are we in a city? Sorry.
You guys are in the Northern Weir.
Okay. Well, I need like arrows. It's really the only thing she's thinking about because her arrows are getting low.
Okay. Yeah, asking around, I'm sure somebody would give you, some arrows. I'm sure somebody would have some. So yeah, asking around, if that's what you're on the hunt for.
Yes.
Eventually, somebody would say, "Well, I've got a few extras, and I think considering everything, he straight up give you, a solid 40 arrows, 2 quivers,
Oh.
quiverfuls."
Nice.
because you would actually find them. Yeah, because there's plenty of bowmen. So yeah, you definitely get a solid 40 extra arrows.
Awesome, thank you. That's much
Nice.
appreciated.
No problem. Anything else I can help you with?
Thank you, oh merciful God.
Nothing that comes to mind right now. Although, is there anything in the city that people come, or wherever we are, that people come here to see that I should not leave without seeing?
So this is sort of for the purpose of this is sort of an older individual, grizzled. He seems to be the quartermaster kind of guy, right? Sort of taking stock after the crazy battle and all. He sort of thinks about that for a moment and says, if you get the chance to catch the sunset or the sunrise from the top of the weir, well, that's a special thing indeed.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. And you kind of get the idea that like now he's lost in his own mind in some kind of memory somewhere. He just sort of drifts off and slowly starts work. He just, his hands are moving robotically, doing the work of the day, getting everything packed back up and inventoried or whatever. But his mind is elsewhere now.
I had a wife 20 years ago.
He's the old man from Up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes me really sad, actually. I love that movie.
That movie was so awesome.
Oh god, that miscarriage montage, though. Oh my god.
So what time is it right now? Is it morning yet?
At this point, it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. Yeah.
In the morning?
At night?
At night.
Oh, at night. Oh, okay.
You guys landed around 7. It's been about 2 hours or so.
I'm gonna go ahead and pump a lesser restoration in my thing, since she told me it might help with the nerve damage.
Okay. So you sort of do that, and well, it doesn't seem like anything has really changed outright. You do feel like a twinge, just in a general sense as you do that. It's kind of like it's not like stubbing your toe, but it's almost like a really quick, like poke from a paper clip or something like that. But it kind of fades.
I
But
have a feeling that when it gets back to normal, it's gonna hurt like a sumbitch.
well, we'll find out.
Probably super pins and needles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. But yeah. So you guys.
I guess
Anything else you guys want to do? There is. You do get directed to an area of the barracks, right? So there's through some of the tunnels that connect up to everything, there is several large rooms, with standing beds basically, where you can see plenty of other riders and stuff. But back in one of the corners, they've sort of put up. They've taken cloth, sort of made makeshift walls for you guys, and there's a space there with 6-7 beds for you guys. It's kind of the best that they could do considering the situation at the moment or whatever. There's that. There's a little bit of extra food left there for you guys and all that.
I'll just walk around like near the armory area and like offer like mending cantrip to anybody who wants it, and just kind of ask around for any like stories or rumors about other items of power or interesting things, artifacts. Not even artifacts, just like interesting magical items.
Okay. Give me an investigation, and you will get a couple people that might be able to use some help. But let's see. Asking around, we'll see what you find.
Absolutely fucking nothing.
Not quite.
Ugh.
You do find one thing, or one person tells you a story of a magical item, and he's not entirely sure what it does. And he says, it was just something that my grandpa used to say, and he was a bit of a treasure hunter. I don't know if it's true or not, or what. But in the so off to the side of Tifton here, so it would be kind of in this area right here.
Wait, hold on.
You got to go
Okay.
down a ways, so kind of off in these mountains. There's supposed to be a ravine that runs through them, sort of like a large canyon. Sort of is some kind of hidden pass into the massive, basically, and into the area where the crater is. And it's supposed to be guarded by a very powerful being, but supposedly, if you can make it past it, there's an item of absolutely wondrous power, the ability to create certain emotions in people, essentially out of whole cloth, alter the way that they perceive the world. But that's about all he's heard.
All right, I will thank him very much for his time and thank him kindly, and move on to. I mean, I guess I find at like the tail end of my little surgery.
Yeah, you'd probably hear that, from kind of a younger guy or whatever towards the end of when you were hanging out in there.
I put my hand out to shake his, and take care not to crush it. Because
Okay.
I got big, stupid like sausage fingers with stupid
Yeah, that's
big
fair.
fingers and hands.
Yeah, so he shakes your hand kind of awkwardly, but yeah.
And
then you see what looks like you're kind of starting to get an idea for some of the ranks right around, and you can see a lieutenant sort of walk down the hallway, see him, and he calls him over. He says, "All right, well, I gotta go. Thanks." Running off with his newly mended blade to meet up with his lieutenant and go wherever it is they need to go.
or like help get the lieutenant not lost. Am I right?
Potentially. Actually, lieutenant in this case is with this order, it's a little different. Officers are a little bit smarter than real ones. Real life.
All right, yeah, I'll just retreat back to wherever the barracks were. They told us we had like a resting
Yeah.
area.
Yeah, you'd be able to get there pretty much no problem. Okay. Anything else for you guys?
Nope.
All right, second long rest for you guys if you want it. And we will pick up here in 5 minutes. And this is going to be an interesting. I'm pretty sure this is still going to be a pretty interesting session. So we'll see how things go. Yeah, give me 5 minutes just to go refill a drink and get a new ice pack because my leg is hurting like a motherfucker.
All right.
So I'm gonna do that. And if you guys have any plans for what you want to do from here, because you do know you're headed back sometime in the morning to Kiyokrati. At least that's the plan, unless you guys want to change the plan. But if there's anything in particular you guys want to do, now is probably the time to discuss that, and then we'll get into it proper in just a couple minutes.
Well, Zuzi is pretty rested, so she likes the idea of going to see that sunrise thing. She wants to mention that to people.
I wouldn't be opposed to popping out early in the morning. I don't need that much rest anyways.
Yeah.
Does anybody need anything from Nick's before I go have a fiver?
Nope.
Nope.
Goodbye.
Fuck you then. Screw you too.
Yeah.
Fine, I'll just sit here by myself.
Nobody even
No
knows
one
where you
likes
are,
me.
actually.
Don't feel bad, neither do I. Probably still sleeping.
Alright, I'm gonna go get me an actual drink. Be right back.
Do-do-do. Do-do-do. Just realized my commune with nature spell would have been really helpful back there and all that stuff.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. Just now thought of that.
Yeah, I'm still not used to having 5th level spells, so.
Yeah, neither am I. Oh wait, I don't have 5th level spells yet. That's next level.
Rip. Yeah, you and Nick's totally gotta get together so you can give her all your ritual spells.
Yep.
Are you a wizard? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so you have every spell. Like, all the spells and things.
Potentially, if I can find them.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, what's funny is there used to be a fuck ton more spells. I've got 3 out of 4 books from 2nd edition
Mm.
of the Wizard's Compendium. Yeah, each book is like an inch thick. Just full of spells.
Yeah, I'm trying to front load my my spells right now, and
Yeah.
not prepare the ones that I don't have.
Yeah, on mine, I've got 4 of my 5 3rd level spells prepared. 2 out of 3 of my 4th level, and 3 out of 8 of my 1st level spells prepared. 'Cause 1st level spells kind of suck.
I don't know, some of my first level spells are great. Like Bless, Guiding Bolt is amazing.
Hmm?
Shield of Faith, Shield, Searing Smite, maybe not Searing Smite, but I get that with my class feature, or my domain feature. How did I not have detect magic up? That's like a thing for me.
You forgot detect magic.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no real need for it when we have somebody walking around and seeing every magical thing ever.
Yep.
Well, I mean, yes, I guess, but before like he would meet you guys, he would have that like ready to go.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense, yeah, for a character standpoint. Oh, shit. I'm gonna have to AFK for a few. Be right back.
Probably have guiding hand too. Nope, not in the SRD.
Do what?
Looking at some of these spells that are available for me first level.
Ah.
Yeah, one of them is called Guiding Hand, and it's literally just like a floating hand that lasts for up to 8 hours that like points me in the direction I need to go.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
No worries.
No, you're not. Stop lying.
That's true. I'm not. So. Oh well. All right. So, what are we up to in the morning?
I guess I'm gonna go like escort Zuzia to the top of the hill where the sun thing was that old man was talking about.
I don't necessarily want to go alone, but that's where I want to go.
Okay. So the Northern Weir looks a bit like a really snowy and icy Devil's Rock, if you know what that looks like.
Yep.
It's a large plateau with several caves in it in this case. But you eventually, asking around or whatever, say you guys get up about an hour before dawn. After asking around, you come to a set of stairs cut into the rock that leads up, and you guys head up towards the surface. You get there, it's pretty cold, like as one might expect.
Nah.
But even in the dark, with your guys' dark vision or whatever, you can see wyverns sort of flying circles around the weir on patrol. In the sort of pre-dawn light here. Hold on. Okay. Belias wouldn't find her in time. Most likely. For Sola. She is currently still on shift. But
At least we don't have to worry about that abomination.
she's on shift until sunrise itself. It's the way that they do the shifts. So as you guys get up there, eventually the sun does break over the horizon, and you can see, this sort of mountainous foreground, with silver wyverns flying above. The clouds are almost in rings around where they're flying, as if they just by their flight patterns have altered the shape of the clouds themselves, as the sort of early morning colors reflect off of them, and you can see, silver white and blue white light hitting the snow.
Sorry.
That's amazing.
Funny. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so it's a very different view from a lot of other places, and this one actually seems vaguely peaceful compared to some, at least considering what has happened. The wyverns they're not even really flying, they're gliding more than anything else on the air currents, so barely flapping their wings or anything like that. As the sunlight hits them, it reflects off as little brilliant, bright points of light, almost like individual stars themselves, in the sky, slowly moving across, out, even up to a mile away. But it's quite a different view. It's at once lonely, in a sense, but peaceful, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No, that don't make sense.
That's fair.
Zuzia gets it and is enjoying herself there.
Okay. And with the sun breaking over the horizon there, it sort of gives you a little bit of warmth, warms you up a little bit, just from the sunlight itself. But yeah, I mean, it's just you also notice there are a couple of other individuals that seem to have come up to watch the sunrise. Not many, but a couple here and there. Some looking a little haggard from the last day or two's activities, but yeah, I mean, and nobody really seems to be talking much. It's just sort of a sit and enjoy situation.
Yeah, I'm just like standing maybe 30 or 40 feet behind Zuzia, not moving at all.
Fair enough. That'll be interesting. But yeah, so everybody else, Belias is off, or Bramnick is off doing what he's doing.
Chasing booty.
Pretty much. But yeah, once Sola gets off shift, those two head up, and they've kind of missed the initial part of the sunrise, but it's still a pretty picture for another hour or so easily. Especially as sunrise up north tends to be a lot slower than, say, on the equator or something like that.
Nick's is probably just waiting nearby where all the wyverns are at, just kind of, or where we got teleported to the first time.
Oh, okay, that's outside. But yeah, there's a small group, including Orlin, sort of gathering up packs and putting on warm clothes to head outside.
Yeah, Nick's will probably bundle up and just kind of
Okay.
wait with them.
All right, no worries. That works. Actually, Nix, I think you'd be the one that, in this situation, yeah, Ta's there with you. And after a few minutes, he would turn to you and relay a bit of information from the previous day. Tell you that he's updated Saria about, the dealer being back and that sort of thing. But that he got an odd message and he's not entirely sure what to do with the information. And he's planning to tell everyone later, but since you're here, you may as well be the first to know that the reason that there was a message, it was one, just a general update, just curious, making sure that everybody was all right. But two, to ask if anyone had seen Valera, as she is no longer at the infirmary.
Nick's just like closes her eyes for a second and just like sighs. All right, that's not good. Was there anything else, or is that it? Please tell me that's it.
All that could go through the message at the time.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. So, what about this other weird message? Is it still like stored in that sending stone?
Well, that was the other message.
Oh, that was the other. Oh, okay.
So the first message was the one from Orlin, saying, "Hey, we're going to be there in X amount of time," or whatever. And then this one's just sort of been sitting there for a while because nobody could really get to it, considering the insanity of, you guys getting the hell out.
Gotcha. Okay. I guess. Yeah, we can totally tell them. When are we going to be able to use it next?
The message he sent a message back, just updating.
Did he tell her that we
yesterday.
were heading back there?
I don't know that he would have necessarily. I think he would have more been talking about the dealer and
Gotcha. Okay.
that he's back and that, no sign of the orc army or anything like that, but to be on guard.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think that's about all that he would have probably said, and we can formulate a new message between everybody here in just a little bit. Is
Yeah,
probably what he
yeah.
would have said.
we can wait for them to come back and tell them. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So Belias, yeah, you and Sola do head up eventually, but her shift ends at sunrise. Like her shift is sunset to sunrise, and then somebody else takes over for the opposite, right? Because it is about it's about 12 hours right now, and the fucked up part is right now it's summer here. Or well, not really summer, but it's so that's about what the shift is. But you guys head up eventually and see the sunrise with the wyverns flying in the air, but in a big, kind of doing a large circle around. They're mostly gliding as opposed to flying, really. But yeah,
Well, this is breathtaking.
yeah, it's nice to watch when I get the chance, but I don't often get the chance.
And I'll pull out my other thermostat
Dude,
thing that
put
they
it
gave
away.
me of claw. Like, after that,
Yeah, she'll take pour some into her cup or whatever and drink a little bit, but yeah, you can definitely tell she's tired after
right?
Bless, could
a
you-
relatively crazy freaking night, considering everybody just got back and there's instead of the normal 100 or 200 people, it's 2,500 now. So it's literally, the workload literally increased by a factor of 10. So
Yeah.
Bless, could you move your microphone just a little bit? You're breathing on it a bit.
It was because I'm moving around and stuff. It wasn't that.
no worries.
All
I
right.
can't move it. It's attached to my headset.
Oh, all right.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, no worries then.
But yeah, so nevertheless, yeah, the group downstairs sort of gets together, and after about an hour, I'd say you guys could, you can head back down or whatever. Meet up with the group that is headed out to the circle.
All right, yeah.
Okay. So you guys head down. Is there anything you guys want to do before you leave the northern one? Just curious.
Yeah, get out of this
I'm gonna
corner.
ask Orlin if she has any more of those sending scrolls.
Well, I don't currently. Perhaps I could make some and send them back that way eventually, but at this exact moment, I appear to be out. I'm sorry.
No problem. And I don't know how long we'll actually be in Kiyokrati. I think we'll be leaving pretty soon once we get back. So it's just a thought. No worries. And thank you again for this. And I'll pull out the orb.
Oh, no problem. It seems I think it'll probably help you more than it'll help me currently. Besides, I still have plenty of materials, so.
Well, it definitely proved useful. So, and I'm sure it'll come in handy in the future as well. So thanks again.
No problem. Well, if that's all, I suppose we should
Oh,
all
wait.
be on our way.
Sorry, one more thing. Nyx then now uses mask many faces and just disguises herself as a blonde elf with a white cloak or something.
Okay. No problem. People look at you a little funny, but nobody really cares that much.
Okay, red.
All right. So you guys all head out. It's about a 2-hour walk through the snow to the actual teleportation circle, but you do get there. Orlin sort of looks at all of you and says, "Well, thank you again. If there's anything we can do, well, contact Neil. It'll be very difficult comparatively to contact me, but I'm sure he'll help. In the meantime, safe travels."
Thank you very much. See you later, I hope.
Glad we could help as much as we did.
She sort of nods and you can see her say a couple of words, and then the circle flares around you guys, and within, I mean, it's less than a breath, but you appear. You are now very warm, actually, as you were in winter clothes, but you are now currently in the city of Kiokrati. Back, the holy city. Well, I mean, you're outside.
Civilization.
You're outside of the city, but, you know, a little ways away.
Oh man, Big Trouble in Little Creocrati seems so long ago.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be shaped into a giant eagle and just head straight to Neil's house to see Melee. Like I'm gone.
Okay. So all of a sudden, you guys just see Bramnik shift form to a giant eagle and take off, flying out. In fact, yeah, there's nobody really there to meet you. They didn't necessarily know that you were going to be there at that time or whatever, but you know, you know the path back, no problem. But yeah, you're gone. Okay.
Is that normal?
Yeah, he does it all the time. It's fine. Ignore it. Let's go to the commander's post there and see if we can go talk to Neil. He's probably hanging out there.
Okay. So it's gonna be, I think it was about 2 hours there initially. It's a little bit faster back, as you're actually kind of going downhill towards, you know, the basin to the city. But yeah, about an hour and a half later, you guys will kind of get into the city. Meanwhile, Bramnik, you show up. It takes you about, considering that, yeah, it would take you maybe 10 minutes, 20 minutes to fly to Tagus's house. As how do you want to like as you sort of land in there? I assume you're probably gonna go for like the garden or something.
Yep. Yeah, I'll
actually,
land in the garden and
as you do, you can see that what was once a carefully curated garden. Most of it is still that, right? But there's one little corner off to the side that is thick and overgrown with vines, covered in flowers and all sorts of stuff.
Druid-crafted birds. And...
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it really is. It's like the forest is taken over, basically. And you actually notice, well before she does, but you actually notice Melee sort of watering her little patch of garden there that she has taken over. And as you land, she sort of turns around and recognizes you and runs over.
Yeah, I'll drop my form and just like reach out with both arms to give her a hug, and then like
Give
see
me
my
a
nub and...
Constitution save, or not a Constitution, a Strength save.
Oh.
Okay, you still almost get bowled over by her as she literally like body slams you in a hug. But yeah, she doesn't really notice the nub right away, but a few seconds later she does, and she sort of like looks at it. Also, you notice she's grown another inch, probably.
Jeez. So she's officially taller than me.
Oh
now.
yeah, no, she's definitely taller than you now.
Okay,
she's
shit.
almost 4 feet now.
Oh, she's almost 4 feet. Because I'm 4'11".
Sorry, you're 4'11"?
What?
Yeah.
That's
I'm a
really
tall dwarf.
that's really tall for a dwarf.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a tall dwarf.
Okay, so no, she's hold on. What was she originally? I actually have this number written down. No, she is currently
Like dwarves are normally like 4
just
4 foot,
under
like
your
3.
height at 4'9".
Okay. I'm.
You're a
the
freak of
scale-
nature dwarf that's super tall.
Yeah.
I'm at like the tallest the dwarves can be.
So.
But
But yeah, so she sort of like looks at it for a minute, doesn't really say anything, but is trying to figure out why that is the way that is without. It seems like she doesn't really want to come out and ask, considering.
okay. I'll just.
She
I'll
kind of
be
just
like,
gives you a hug anyway, again, and then a few seconds go by, and then she literally grabs your good hand, I suppose, and drags you over to her crazy garden of insanity and starts, like basically wants to show you all the different things that she's managed to grow in the last week.
I'll just pat her on the head and like, well, looks like you've been pretty busy.
Yeah, you get like a beaming smile from her. Like it's just like sort of the shit-eating, smile that
Yeah.
you get out of kids or whatever. And yeah.
Well, I told you I'd come back. I didn't promise I'd come back in one piece though.
She kind of gives you a frown, sort of.
Oh,
But-
speaking of which, oh no, it's too late. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Okay.
I'll just. Oh, it's okay. I'll be fine. I'm alive. That's all that matters.
She sort of reaches out, hesitantly to kind of like touch at your the missing bit.
As she does, I'm gonna like reach up with it and be like, ooh! Like, just tease her with it.
She smiles, but then she all of a sudden gets kind of serious for a minute. And begins what you recognize as, like, you've seen her do druidcraft plenty, but seems a little bit more what would the word be?
Powerful,
More advanced.
potent. Yeah, okay.
More advanced. She, like I said, reaches out for a moment, and you feel an odd feeling. Something you recognize. There's a sort of a vine that comes basically from around her wrist out towards that bit, as she actually casts a healing word on you, essentially. Actually, it would have been a cure wounds. Having somehow picked it up. She kind of frowns, but not like dissatisfied or anything like that when it doesn't really do anything. But yeah, you recognize that spell somehow.
Huh. It seems you've been doing more than just growing plants and the like in the garden.
Yep. That's about how you get out. But
Very good.
Sorry.
Is the lady around? The lady of the house?
She kind of, like thinks for a second and goes, I don't know.
Well, let's go find out.
All right. So she sort of like leads you back into the house to find Aurora. And while you're in there, looking around for the most part. Let's see here. Go. Eventually, you do in fact find Aurora. She's in the main living room area, just sort of eating a little bit of breakfast herself. But yeah.
Just hello. Sorry to pop in unannounced.
Oh, well, welcome back, apparently. Good to see you're here. Although,
Yeah.
a bit missing, but
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure that's a
happens.
story for another time.
Yeah. We were half successful. And
Interesting, I'm sure. Well, I'm sure Neil will be happy to hear that. I
yeah,
certainly
the
am.
others, I think, are on their way to see him. I'm not sure. I was just excited to get back to see Mile. Thank you for keeping watch. I see she's kind of taken the garden to herself.
Well, I've had no problems whatsoever, although I won't lie. Maldris was driven a little bit nuts at first until she designated a specific area for this little one to work in. But it's been a joy. It's been quite a bit of fun. It's different having a younger child in the house again. It's been a long time since Tagus was that young.
Yeah, she can be a handful, but like I said, she means well. So
Yeah, that she does. Well, and then you kind of notice as she sort of moves, you can see a vase with sort of a short vase or whatever with what looks like a living druid, really living, a good crafted flower turned
Rather,
into
you're
the
cutting
shape
out
of
a
a
little
bird.
bit.
Oh, am I?
Yeah,
Is it being dumb again?
just a
Yeah.
touch.
it was
Okay.
fine for me.
Okay, that's
Same.
just you.
Huh.
But yeah, there's a vase with a druid crafted bird in it, made out of a flower. That seems to be the new centerpiece of the dining table. Which, I'm sure you can figure out where that came from.
Yeah. I'm assuming your husband's probably at the guard quarters,
He's
post.
either there or on the Justice Rise. I'm not sure which. He's been rather busy. We've managed to root out at least 2 other spies since you've been gone.
Nice.
I'm not sure if there are more, but security's been up a bit, and he's been rather busy. It's probably a good thing. It keeps his mind off of other problems. But Tagus has been trying to help him out and get him to calm the hell down periodically.
Fair enough. Well, I should probably meet back with the group and try to meet with him. Plus, there's other things I need to get taken care of. So, again, I appreciate your help.
No problem. Feel free to stop by a little later today. I'm sure we'd all love to hear the story of what you managed to accomplish.
Yeah. Mile, you ready to go for a ride?
She sort of looks at you, and then it takes her a second to figure out what that meant, and then she just all of a sudden big ass smile and starts jumping up and down.
So, well, we'll be taking our leave then. Come on.
She
I'll go
literally
out.
jumps on your back before you on your first step. She just jumps on your back, piggyback style.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Walk out to the garden and
mind you, she's just about as big as you. I mean, you're
Yeah.
way stockier, but yeah, no,
yeah.
she is attached. In fact, vines begin to grow out of her arms and legs to create almost like an X across your chest. It's like a backpack. Yeah, no, she wants to go for a ride.
Yeah, I'll go back to eagle form and
All right.
fly
So
back
for the rest of you guys, I'll say the conversation and all that stuff. Where are you flying to then?
Well, I remembered it was going to take a couple hours to walk back into the city.
Hour and a half ish.
Hour and a half.
Yeah,
So
I'd say
probably try to meet
they're-
them on their way into
Okay.
the city.
You'd meet them about at the gates. I mean, I was thinking an hour and a half to get to the guard area. So, hour to the city, another half an hour through the crazy city to the city guard headquarters. But yeah, you meet them at the gate. and all of you see the giant eagle with the now another inch taller dryad on his back.
Caw-caw. I can't remember. Can she speak with animals yet, or?
She kind of has an innate sense of what they're thinking, but like doesn't actually necessarily speak with animals. At least not that you know of.
I'll just try to convey to her to tell them like lead the way. We're with you guys now. So
Okay, are you just gonna fly overhead and do that,
Yeah.
or are you gonna land or whatever?
yeah, I'll just kind of circle above.
Okay. She sort of yells out at the rest of you. So all of you just see a giant eagle with Melee on the back, yelling out, "Let's go, let's go!" That's about as much as you get, because it's about as much as she got.
I assume that is also normal.
What? Yeah, actually, yeah. Holy shit, did she get bigger?
Yeah, you
So-
would probably notice that she is maybe a little taller than she was before.
Yeah. So are they just flying over there and we're walking?
Yeah, they're sort of flying overhead, and you guys are walking. You guys are at the gates now into the city, and it doesn't take you too long to make your way up towards the main guard tower.
Okay.
Ta, I think, at this point, yeah, he'll stick with you guys, just sort of at the back, doing the Ta thing.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess we'd go over and talk to Neil.
All right. Yeah, you guys get up to the main plaza up at the top of the city guard tower, or headquarters rather. And after looking around for about 5 minutes, you'd see Neil barking orders at people and the like. He notices you and heads over in your direction, sort of waving. And so, how's it been? It seems, well, you're back. Should I take that as a good or not so great?
It went hand in hand. Yeah, we've suffered some losses, but we've gained some numbers back. But the mission accomplished. We were able to rescue the princess, and yeah, she is now safe with her mom.
Well, that's good to hear, for sure. Well, you'll have to tell me the tale a bit later.
Of course.
What can I do for you in the moment, though?
I was told that if we needed anything, that we could speak to you about it.
All right. Well, then, what is it that you need?
I was wondering if the treasurer knew about us and if we were on our way to possibly collect a reward.
I'm sure I could speak with him. I have, in fact, a meeting later on today. Not sure what exactly we have in the coffers, but I'm sure we can compensate you for some of your troubles for sure. That'll have to wait for a bit. I'll need to speak with him later on. I know he's a busy man at the moment. As I believe the plan is currently to revamp some of the defenses around the city. There's been some news of, well, there's always been news of orcs on the warpath, but there have been a bit more troubling bits of news as of late. So beefing up defenses has become a priority, so to speak.
Where are these orcs coming from?
Currently, they're coming from the Thunder Run, as far as we know. Riverguard Keep has kept them in check, and they've done so for quite some time. But, well, it's not impenetrable, and if there is a group with enough tenacity, they can certainly find a way to the city. So being prepared is typically a good idea.
Oh, agreed completely. Really quick, geologically, like where is this in relative to Kiokrati? Like, is it to
Sure.
the south or?
Let's jump over here really quickly. Okay. So Kiokrati's here, right?
Yeah.
The Thundering Run is from here all the way up to Riverguard.
Okay, so it's
Basically that line.
so
Riverguard
southeast.
being sort of a, they literally have patrols and the like that usually swing out this way and this way to kind of bottle all the stuff from the wastelands in.
Gotcha.
With Silverleaf and Tifton sort of covering the forests themselves, which is why most orcs won't go into those forests because ironically, the elves and the gnomes there are very, very effective at taking care of most of those problems.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so Silverleaf is an elven village, mostly wood elves, and Tifton here is mostly gnomes and halflings.
This entire time, I'm studying this dude's armor.
Okay. What exactly are you looking for?
Oh, just like details in construction, like how thick I think it is, how ornate it looks, any like the symbology besides Bahamut.
And it's not Bahamut for him; it's Torm.
Tor.
There are some so it's got this inlay that depicts a bit of Bahamut and Torm as they were sort of battle buddies, literally during one of the great, supposed celestial wars, I suppose you could say. Torm and Bahamut were partners. Torm actually rode Bahamut into battle as they were literally partners where Bahamut would take out swaths of enemies and Torm would beat the shit out of anything that came too close to Bahamut for him. It was, it's sort of the genesis of the Wyvern Riders in a sense. But yeah, so it is pretty decently thick armor. It's full plate, fairly ornate, and yeah, very, very well crafted.
Is there a like a brand or like a maker's mark?
Not that you can see.
At least
Most
not
of
from
those
the
are usually
front.
on the interior. Yeah.
All right, all right. Yeah, that's about it for me. Anybody else? Is this you?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. But yeah, if there's anything, he'll relay. If there's anything in town that you wish to do or whatever, I'll get back with you tonight if you want to spend the, if you want to stay the night at the house, it's no problem at all. And that he'd be interested to hear the story of what happened, as information is a bit slow to get to him, and at the same time, hearing it from the actual people who did it would be quite fun, or at least quite enlightening, at least.
Are they inside the guard post, like inside the building?
So there's the building here, right? Which is the main Citadel Tower, and then the extra buildings here. You guys are currently kind of out in this field where he's been directing people around, mostly. So yeah, you guys are just sort of outside in the, I guess you could call it parade ground or courtyard.
If I heard that it was gonna be a while before any reporting is done or anything like that, I'll just kind of like flap a wing at the group and like almost as if I'm waving, and I'm gonna head out towards the Nature's Rose.
Okay. So yeah, you guys see Bramnick sort of flap a wing and head out towards the Nature's Rise then.
You guys seem pretty well connected.
Yeah, we get shit done most of the time.
If these are your
Most of the
friends
time
in the
it's right.
city, I can't wait to see what you mean by boat.
Yeah, I'm on the fence as to whether or not we keep both of you new people. I don't like the idea. We have a rule, okay? Well, I do. It's called the no strays rule, okay? I mean, I'm thinking about it. I don't know, man. I mean, you did kind of help us, though, I guess.
I'm
Probably
gonna
from
insight
character,
check
'cause,
her and then just look at Ta, like, really?
I would like to point out, like, this is coming from literally the character who is the most like a stray cat. But okay.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know that, but like, just
I know.
I'm gonna insight check her and just look at Ta.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he looks kind of defensive, like, not necessarily towards Nyx, more towards you guys. He seems to, let's see here. Yeah, all right, so, he seems to have a certain familiarity and trust with Lucian, but he certainly seems a bit, maybe not apprehensive. That's not the right word, but still guarded towards you, Gad.
In which case, I'll just offer, well, in exchange for some of my services, I would appreciate at least a trip, quick drop off over near Thunder Forge.
I think, based on what he wrote, Ta would probably say something to the extent of, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but if there's anything in the city that we need to do that first. In the meantime, I'd like to know more about who you are, looking at you, Gad, before we make any decisions.
Very well. That's fair.
All right. Let's see. So, at that point, it's still pretty early in the morning. I'll say it's probably like 10. What do you guys want to do? You guys now have a city, which is kind of nice.
Nyx wants to go back to the ship and check
Okay.
out to see if there was any progress.
Okay. So you're planning to go back to the ship. Anybody else want to do stuff?
I guess I'll just follow them because I really don't know my way around the city. I don't think I've ever been to Kyokurati in my travels.
Yeah, I doubt that you would have.
I'm just following them also.
Okay.
I
Lucian?
go look for armor.
Okay. That works. So let's. Since
Oh,
it's
I
quick
still
and
have
easy.
sections of that shield golem in my like strapped to my back.
Yep. You're carrying a shield golem on your back. Well, not a full one, but like bits and pieces of it.
Parts of one, yeah.
Yeah, like you've got like a shoulder and an elbow and a knee. Like it's a lot of pieces, like I said. But yeah, Lucian, you head out. Give me an investigation. You should be pretty good at those.
Nope.
Okay. It's I mean, you're gonna find stuff eventually. It's just how long it takes you. So we'll say it takes you about 2 hours of searching until you finally find a place that sells armor.
Okay.
But yeah, you walk in, it's kind of a typical blacksmith's shop is here down here on the at the Central Market. You kind of went by way of the half-orc quarters and then down to Sorcerer's Rise and then through the human quarters and then back to the Central Market. So,
Yeah.
really inefficient. But you do eventually find your way in. There's a very, very, very large human male working the blacksmith shop. As you walk in, he sort of looks up to you. What can I do for you?
Sorry about that.
worries.
I'm curious, do you work with Mithril?
I have once or twice, but not much. Why?
I'm curious as to about how much a suit of armor like I've got would cost to be made out of Mithril.
Well, that's the trick. Working it isn't that hard. It's actually very good for working. Assuming you have the right setup, and I do, thankfully. However, the material itself is very hard to come by. It's pretty rare and very expensive. A suit like yours, if I were to replicate it exactly in Mithril, oh, well, could easily cost as much as a set of plate mail. The problem is I'm not entirely sure where to source Mithril from right now.
Okay.
But I know of a few cities that might have some. I could ask around, I suppose. But Odell used to be the place to get Mithril from, and well, their mine is kind of dry. The vein there is sort of dried up. They're looking for more, and unfortunately, that means
That's
less
not
for
good.
everyone else.
Yeah.
Yes. There is a small mithril mine as well in Rookdale, but well, they normally service places like Praven and River's Mouth and Vilwin, as they can really only go via the sea, considering the orcs have the Thunder Run completely, well, not completely, but pretty close to completely covered.
Yep. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. If you find some, I'm happy to do the work.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Have a
All
good
right.
day.
You too. And he kind of goes back to banging on what looks like a gladiator-style helmet made out of some form of steel or something.
I guess he'll try and find where the others are.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's pretty easy now. I mean, you took a tour of the city. You know where to go now, so it's not so bad. But yeah, you sort of head down that way. Everybody else. All right. So next, you're leading this charge, so to speak.
Apparently.
Okay. And you want to go to the harbor, basically. Oh, right. And Bramnick, what were you planning to do? Just so I know. Okay, you're at the temple. Anything in particular you want to do there? Because you took off earlier.
Well, I remember last time they wouldn't let us into like the main chamber because they were investigating, so I'm gonna see if it's available now.
Yeah, it seems to have been reopened for the most part. There's still like little bits and pieces that are cordoned off where, but not much. Just small areas.
The main central area where like the waterfall and stuff is.
That's open now.
Okay. So I just want to take melee in there and like pray to Sylvanus and then try to meditate while I'm in this like super nature filled area and like see if I can't try to communicate with Simimar just through meditation.
Okay. Yeah, so Let me think here. So, as you kind of sit down, Mile doesn't exactly pray so much, but she is kind of quiet in the back, or kind of behind you. I want you. How would this work? I want you to make me a straight charisma check.
Boy.
I think that's going to be the best way to do this. Okay. You sort of meditate, and you can kind of feel almost the force of personalities around you, in a sense. Or rather, not so much the force of personalities, but just sort of the general feel of the room, of nature, etc. But it doesn't really extend beyond that. Currently, so it's about all that really happens without a spell or something like that for it.
Right. I'll just kind of sit there for a minute and let Melee kind of enjoy the scenery, and then I'd probably make my way to the ship at some point too to check on plants and stuff.
Okay. All right. Sorry, just wanted to make sure I got everything kind of squared away there in the rough order that it happened. So, Nix, you are leading this charge. You head down to the docks.
Yes.
You on your way, you see Declan, the guy you transported over here, kind of off to the side out here. He was also the guy doing the work on your ship. Sort of directing a bunch of people to loading on a bunch of timber, etc., onto a skiff, and you can see a second one that is just leaving, headed kind of that away in general.
Okay, I'll go up there and talk to him.
You walk up to him, and well, you don't look like you, so he sort of looks at you. Hello?
Oh, hi. I'm okay. She'll like drop her mask for a second,
Okay.
and just
Yeah,
be like, wave and be like, "Hi, it's me," and then flip it back on and just be like, "Personal reasons, you know."
He kind of smiles because, "Oh, you're back. That was pretty quick."
Yeah. We managed to make that time limit that you had set there.
Well, I finished up work a few days ago. Actually, I mean, but you knew that.
Yeah, so it's all done?
Well, of course.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
I mean, how do you not know that? You came and picked up this ship, what, 3 days ago?
Oh my god!
Wait, is our ship missing? Is that what I just heard?
As you look around, you do not see your ship.
Oh my god! Saber's gonna be so mad!
Wow.
You really fucked us!
Wait.
Wasn't somebody at the ship though?
Not anymore.
Well, Mile wasn't. She was at the house. Declan was working on the ship.
And
And
fucking
you guys decided to go up north.
my Drakeling disappeared when I died.
Okay, so what do you mean we picked this up? Could you explain
No,
that?
you picked it up just 2 days ago, I believe. Maybe 3. I don't remember. It's been a weird set of days. You said you were supposed to take it to meet up with, well, the rest of you, sort of gesturing to everyone behind you.
Wait, just me.
Yeah, you.
Nyx just like rolls her eyes to the back of her fucking head for a second and just like, what the fuck? Oh, okay. Could you like tell me if there was anything odd or different, or like if if there is anything out of the norm from what you have seen of me in my original attire, not this.
Well, well, you were wearing a different outfit. That's about it. I didn't think that was all that odd. And considering the fact that you just showed up looking like someone else, I mean, we spent a week together, and you're the weirdest one. I'm sorry.
Could you describe the outfit by any chance?
Let me think. That was a weird couple days, but
I look over
sure,
at
it was
Ta.
mostly, similar colors, mostly black. Little bit of leather armor, I suppose. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't anything too out of the ordinary.
Any other color besides black? Was there any other colors visible?
Well, let's see. Well, I suppose, okay, so, I mean, you had a cloak, but under the cloak you had leather armor, and I thought it was sort of odd, but it had a set of blue stitching on it, but that's about it.
Nyx doesn't say anything, but she's totally like clenching her fists and like just like shaking really quickly, like fucking explode.
I would like to look over at the other large middleman in the current group.
Ta? Yeah, okay.
He heard that conversation, right?
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck his reaction would be, so I'm not gonna play him.
I assume it'd be like, "What do you mean?"
Actually, no, he wouldn't have even come with. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say he didn't come with. Because that makes my life way fucking easier and I don't have to RP for him. He can do it on his own.
Okay, just really quickly, one last question. Did I mention to say which way I was going, or the general direction, or anything like that?
Well, I mean, you headed off north for the most part. I mean, along the river initially, and then took off. But I thought it was sort of odd. I suppose there was one thing out of place, which was odd. I don't really know how you managed it. But there was a large wooden crate, very heavy, that was brought along, and a lot of, I don't know. I mean, it was very cold to the touch. That's about all I can think of because I had to help load it on. It was brought here in a cart, but that was the only thing that was really out of place. But considering you lot, I kind of figured it was not actually out of place.
Okay, well, if I have any more questions, I assume that you'll be around here, of course.
I mean, I'll either be here or at the new sky dock that we're building, which is just outside the city. But you've seen that, so you know what that is.
Yeah,
I'll
how's
usually
that
be
going
there.
along?
It's very slow. We have to pull out a bunch of old ruined stone and replace it with new stone and scaffolding. But it's well, we just got started on it yesterday, so it'll be some time. But it's looking like it's doable. So that's a pretty good start.
Well, I think it's fabulous work. You should keep going with that. I think that your architectural skills will be very noticed after this.
Well, it would be nice. But for the moment, it's a long process and it'll take some time. But that's all right. I like projects. Gives me something to focus on for a while.
Oh, I totally agree. Absolutely. I have a project of my own I'm working on. Thank you very much for your time, and I may come back and speak with you a little later. So thank you very much.
No problem. Yeah. Have a good one. And you
You
just
too.
sort of get like, he kind of gets like, he kind of like nods like, fucking weird, and walks off back to doing what he was, sort of just getting everything organized and all.
before he does that, I would like to just like walk up to him and ask, and just talk to him in Dwarvish, like, I've not seen many of the stout folk in my travels.
Because Declan isn't dwarvish.
Oh, isn't he? Is he? What is he? I thought he was dwarf.
Biggs is dwarvish.
Is he
Declan.
a halfling?
He's a half elf.
Ah, okay, never mind then. I don't do any of that, because I would have
Yeah.
seen that he was
Declan's
not a
half
dwarf.
elf. Biggs is a dwarf. And then crap, I don't remember. There was somebody else that was too, but I don't remember. It's in my NPC list. But yeah, no, Declan is definitely a freaking half elf.
Okay, yeah. Then that's that.
All right.
Well,
I told you guys are gonna hate me on this episode. Knock of that.
Well, maybe Saber a little bit more than some of us when he finds out, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
I guess having your ship stolen is not normal.
You know what? No, really, I think Ta would just like,
He would
realize
explode.
that literally everything is Nyx's fault. So really, I don't think he would be that surprised. Honestly,
I don't know that it's
I'm just
necessarily
saying.
Nyx's fault. I mean, I think
Somebody could use a scry spell.
Nyx might have a good idea of who probably did it and why Nyx's form was used. But like, I mean, I gotta say, it's kind of on all y'all. Nobody like was like, all right, somebody guard this. Nobody you literally said, until one of us comes back for this thing, just keep it in the harbor.
Did
Didn't
Ta not say that?
Didn't we lock the crystals?
Yeah.
We locked the crystal so it can't fly, but it can still sail.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck, I took Koresh
Also,
with me
I
too,
would
didn't
like
I?
to
I
point
didn't
out,
leave him on the ship.
a lock does not mean it doesn't mean it's unbreakable. It just means it takes a lot of work to break a lock like that. So it's not impossible to break that lock.
So now we're stranded in Kyokrati.
Not necessarily stranded. I mean, you guys can move around all you want, but like, yeah, your
stranded
ship's
in
not here.
comparison to owning an airship.
Yeah, well, that's fair. I would like to point out that from the day you guys said, or from the moment you guys said, let's go north, this was probably what was going to happen unless you caught certain people at certain times.
Fucking hell.
All right, let's wait for this reward money coming soon in a few hours, I assume, and we'll talk to Declan, find us a fast ship, or even maybe we can. If there's a ship, is there any ships over at the?
There's no sky ships, but there
Okay,
are.
yeah, that's what I was
safety
asking. Okay, yeah, so maybe we can talk to Declan and see if we can find his fastest ship and possibly borrow and or rent and or pay for it, and just head north and see if we can catch up.
Well, here's the thing. We need to get to Dragon's Mouth. We have a ton of business to do there.
Dragon's Mouth is pretty much northwestish, right?
Yeah.
There.
So
Okay.
we'd be
So
heading in the general direction.
But how are we? I guess we could always ask for transport from the people here, but
Well, all right. I locked the ship before we left, okay? It's going to take some time, but it's totally crackable. So, I mean, there's a time limit here. And once that ship gets in the air, I mean, we're going to have a lot of
it's been
difficulty looking for it.
He said
2
it's been
days
3 days,
already.
right?
Yeah.
Would you guys not be able to scry said ship?
Yeah.
I do not have
actually.
such magics, but if you're familiar with such an item, it would work.
How are you familiar with this? I could
What?
do that.
Trying to go dig up the scry spell again real quick.
I can scry on an object or a person.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I know her really well.
Ah,
Yeah,
yes.
you do, but you're not casting the spell. Depends on what you're trying to scry on. Like you got to pick your target, right? That's the important part.
I could scry on the ship itself. But, I mean, even if I say I get a perfect scry on the ship or the person that stole it.
Okay, no,
I
you
don't-
can't choose an item. It has to be a creature or a location.
Oof.
You can scry on a location, and then the scrying eye doesn't move, right? The sensor doesn't move. Or you can scry on a creature and try to chase that down, basically.
So with a location, could I be like, the location is the top deck of the ship? Could I-
No, because that's a fluid location. You have to be fixed in relation to the. Yeah.
Right.
What about if Nyx like just like makes herself look like Alana or whatever? Would that help him in any way?
Let's see. Yeah, I would say.
But here's the problem. Just because I see them doesn't mean I'll recognize where they're at.
That's the risk, isn't it?
I mean, it's still worth a shot, but she could be in the hold, and then I'm like, oh, okay, great, she's in the hold of the ship. I have no idea where the ship's at.
Well, are you able to? I mean, you can just do it again, right? Later,
The next day, sure.
the next day.
It's very exhausting to do this. I can do it once a day.
All right. What's the range on the Rocky Talkies? Is it 1 mile or
Yeah, I think
More.
we
That's
set
a
it at
mile.
about a mile.
1 mile? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is that we have a limited amount of time to get our ship back, and we need to go after it ASAP. If anybody has any ideas on how we can get that whole process expedited, please speak up.
Let's get back to Neil and Aurora's house so I can set up and prepare to scry, and then we can go from there.
Neil. Okay, and then Nyx is gonna like run over back to see if she can talk to Neil.
Okay. So, Nyx takes off like a bat out of hell, apparently.
Actually, no, she'll
Uh,
cast fly and fucking zoom over.
Okay.
So the rest of you guys know the way to this house, right?
Yeah, I'll lead everyone to
Okay.
the house.
All right. So you guys head off in that general direction.
Yep. Gonna go ahead and admire the architecture.
All right. Yeah, it's a mishmash of a lot of different styles and things. But yeah, you get to the house. Neil hasn't come back to the house quite right yet, because it's still. I mean, it's like early afternoon, but Aurora is. Actually, Aurora's. Let's see. Yeah, I think Aurora would have headed out to go meet up with Tagus at the temple.
Um, is Maldris there? Then I'm
She
assuming?
is. Yeah, she meets you at the door.
Neil told us we could stay at the house while we're in town. That
She just looks at you and then looks at Melee, sort of attached to you or whatever, and then realizes what all that means. She goes, "Oh, thank God! Come on in," and drags you all inside. Although stopping kind of for a second, or almost hesitating for a second, seeing the large metal man and the new elf. But yeah, but letting them in anyway, considering you know, you haven't said no or anything.
Yeah. Well, do you know when we can be expecting the Neil and Aurora?
Well, Aurora's off with Tagus. They'll likely be back. Well, Aurora will. She's trying to get in a few hours a day of quote unquote work at the temple. It's just, it helps her. She'll probably be back in another hour or two. Neil has his meeting here. It's probably started just now. Another 3 hours or so, I would assume.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll wait. Can we have some lunch while we wait?
That I can do. And
I'll
she
just
sort of
say
like,
none for me, please.
all right. But yeah, she dips over into the kitchen, leaves you guys in the dining room, and begins cooking something up.
Again, just mumbling and cursing under my breath, like, motherfucker, how did this happen? Stupid Declan giving away our ship.
I'll just kind of offhandedly just mention, if you need to keep something, keep it secure, you always go to a dwarf.
Declan is a dwarf.
Nope. Half elf.
Yeah,
I thought
Declan's
Declan was a dwarf.
no.
I
he's
wrote it
not a
down
dwarf.
as.
Oh, is he down as a dwarf? Well, no, because then I might have mixed that up. But he's not meant to be a dwarf. He's meant to be a half elf, and then there was another dwarf there with him.
Okay.
And that was the
Oh, the airship tower constructor guy.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of.
yeah.
Okay.
No, okay. Declan is one of the 2 airship tower constructor guys. There was one in the back. He came. He was confusing, but yes, he. Declan is the aide. He's one of the 2 guys over there that were shipbuilders, right?
Mm,
One of them was the dwarf. Declan was the half elf.
okay.
The dwarf, I don't remember his name. I've got it written down somewhere, but I'll find it for you guys in a bit. But he was sort of the aide, if I remember right.
Yeah, because I swore we picked up a dwarf. Unless that was just like a confusion between. Because out of character, I know that Tagus is a Asmar, so he looks human, so he would not look like a
Right.
half elf, but it was just like, oh yeah, the shipbuilder guy, he's a dwarf, and then there's also Declan, and Declan's gonna come with Tagus, this Tagus kid.
Yeah. I'll look through and confirm that in a little bit, but regardless.
Wasn't the guy like Dockmaster that Bramnick was like?
Yeah, he was a dwarf.
Yeah.
That too.
Right.
Forget about that.
I thought we
Ooh.
would just not bring that up anymore.
It was
Yeah,
great.
he's gonna be pissed because you've been cheating on him. That elf up north.
Anyway.
Lucian has no idea about the dwarf that I may or may not have tried.
Oh,
to-
this ain't Lucian.
This is just Tanaka.
This is just me.
Anyway, so yeah, so what do you guys want to do?
Eat lunch and wait. There's not really.
Okay.
I gotta wait for Nyx anyways, so I can get a clear description and vision of this
Yeah,
person.
so Nix, where are you at then? Are you just running off straight to find Neil?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if Tal wants to become with or whatever, but
I don't
since he
know
was
what the
there-
fuck he'd do. So
Oh wait,
I'm
you said he
just-
was gone doing stuff. That's right. Yeah, she would
Yeah,
just.
I kind of just made him leave for now.
He's
'Cause,
gonna be
like,
so
It's
mad.
easier that way.
He's
Gotta go
gonna be-
take a dump.
He's taking on.
He's
the
gonna go into a fucking blood rage.
Actually, I think I have an idea as to what he might be doing, but we'll see. I'll talk to him about that later.
Hey.
In the meantime,
Yeah.
you guys, Nix, you run up to the city guard headquarters. You see several, There are a lot less Wyvern Riders right now, but you see a few and a lot of city guard. Head into the building. You don't see Neil, but you do see 2 large closed doors with 4 guards outside. Sort of an inner meeting chamber or whatever. If you ask around, then you'll know that Neil is actually in there currently in the meeting.
Yeah, she'll just walk right up to the guards and say, I really, really need to get in there. This is extremely important.
One of you, or one of them looks at you and says, we can potentially pass a message through, but he is, well, they're all busy. Is there a particular person and a particular message you need me to put through?
Yeah, I need to speak with Neil, like, immediately.
All right. And your name?
Are you going to write down a message?
Well, yeah, he actually pulls out like a small pad of paper, and he's writing this down really quickly.
Can I turn on Eldritch Sight and see if, like, the door or the walls are magical at all?
Sure. Although I want to check something here. Because you're still under that thing. I'm gonna look at your spells here. I just want to check something. So oh yeah, you should probably add those so that they're there. But you currently have 1 spell up. Is it concentration? That's what I'm trying to figure out. So you have your disguise self up. Does your detect magic break disguise self? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Detect magic's not a concentration, is it?
Yes, it is. Up to 10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah. And then
Fly.
well, yeah, it would probably break fly, but I kind of figured that's fine. But let's just go.
Disguise self's not concentration, it just happens.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to make sure of. So you're still the elf person for the moment.
Perfect.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yes, there are magical enchantments on the doors.
Can I tell what type?
Vaguely. They seem to be. Let's see. What school would this be? I think it's enchantment.
Of course it's enchantment.
Enchantment and let's see. No, it wouldn't be that one. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right school. I think it's abjuration. Enchantment and abjuration.
For what?
Well, I definitely don't want to do what I was thinking about now.
Okay.
All right. Is there any way that you can just let me through? This is seriously an emergency, and I'm pretty sure Neil would be acceptable to allowing my presence there. Like, I don't know what you're doing here, writing down this message, but you need to let me speak with him right now.
I can write a quick message, and if he so chooses, he could either let you in or come out to speak with you. Those are your options. Or you can leave.
Can I? Okay, yeah, okay. Nix is gonna try to lie to this fucking.
Okay.
Oh wait, never mind. She might get arrested. All right, fine. The message is, someone stole our ship. We need assistance, possibly some Wyvern riders to potentially help us search for it.
Okay.
And I guess I'll be waiting outside.
Okay, and then yeah, he asks for your name so that he can write it on the note. So that
Yeah, I'll tell him. Yeah.
All right. He hands it to what looks like sort of an aide, and the aide heads off down the hallway to what seems to be a secondary door or something. And about 5-10 minutes go by, and then you see the two doors out ahead sort of open up, and several people sort of filter out, all looking kind of. They've all got guard clothing on, etc. And Neil kind of looks around for you and comes up to you and says, What happened? This what?"
While we were gone helping you with your cause, somebody impersonated myself and took our ship. I was hoping you could assist us in searching for it. Last we know, it was headed north.
That's terrible. We're on recess here for about 20 minutes or so. How about this? Bring me up to speed. We'll grab, if you want to get a hold of your friends, I'll add it to the day's business, and I wouldn't mind having you here in the in the meeting itself. We can talk over everything then. Meanwhile, yeah, if you can explain things, and if you need to get a message to your friends, I can do that quite quickly, actually. And he pulls out a sending stone. Everybody else notices that Maldred sort of jumps for a second there, as as a little rock on her belt sort of glows for a quick second. And then you guys hear that there's a meeting going on, and Neil's willing to talk about, what's going on and all that. So I think, yeah. So got about 20 minutes to get there, but you can do that in that time if you want to.
While we're there, I'm gonna. Do I notice Milei's fascination with birds?
It's not. I mean, you saw her enjoy, riding on Bramnick's back. And you've seen a few bird-like things that are definitely kind of like molded from natural stuff. You could probably make an assumption, but it's not really been really blatant, actually,
Okay.
compared to some of the things she has done in the past.
I'm gonna ask Miss Maldris, was it?
Yeah.
If there's just like some spare wood lying around, doesn't have to be a lot. It's like
She
a
actually
large branch or something will do.
She walks over to the fireplace and pulls off a piece of wood and hands it to you. I mean, she just sort of like looks at you like, the fuck? But yeah, there's a piece of like a branch or a bit of firewood.
Thank you. I'll just strap it to my pack for now.
Okay. Meanwhile, do you guys want to head over to the meeting, or do you want to chill there? Like, yeah, I don't.
I mean, we should probably head to the meeting. We have all the details. What do you think, Cecilia? Considering out of the people in the group right now, you and I are the only ones who know these people. I guess maybe Lucian. Does Lucian know, like, Neil?
He hasn't been here.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, sure.
I thought Lucian had met up with Neil, and that's how we got to
Yeah,
where...
you've met Neil and stuff, but you don't really know them in the same context as everybody else.
Yeah.
It was all
Makes
was
sense.
my point. But yes, you do know Neil.
Makes
you met
sense.
him in passing, at least.
Well, I guess we need to head to the Justice Rise. Is that right, Maldris?
Yes, that's currently where they're at.
All right. Well, thank you for lunch. We'll be back tonight for dinner.
All right, looking forward to it, and
thank
maybe
you
looking forward to a bit of peace and quiet.
Thank you
for
for
your
your
patience with
hospitality.
Melee. She
No problem. It was honestly quite a bit of fun. It's just oh, getting old and wasn't entirely ready for that, but it was very enjoyable.
tell me, she just kind of popped into my life, so I know that feeling. But yeah, I'll just pat Melee on the head. Like, let's go.
All right. So as you guys turn around, you see Maldris grab a book and says, "Just close the door on your way out, please." And grabs a book and then sort of dashes off to the garden where you can see a lawn chair where she set up a lawn chair a while back, and it seems to have like some leaves and stuff on it, like it hasn't been used. Seems like she's just wanting some peace and quiet.
She's ready for me time. She's got her box
Yes.
of wine. She's good.
Pretty much, yeah. That's pretty much it. You can see a bottle of wine. Grabs a bottle of wine out off of one of the shelves as she goes out towards the back.
Doesn't even grab a glass.
Yeah.
Hell no, Maldris is not
It's
that
been a
kind
hell
of
of a couple of weeks because we've been gone what, like 2 weeks?
a week.
A week? Okay.
Only been a week, believe it or not. But yeah,
All right. So it
it
won't
was
make
just
our way
a
to the justice.
brutal week. But yeah, yeah. So yeah, you guys head out, closing the door behind you. You can hear like sort of like a click of the magical lock system. But yeah, you guys head off towards the Justice Rise. For the purposes of this, I'll say you could get a hold of Ta easily enough to have him come with. Actually, he probably would have met you there at the house as you guys were leaving.
I would have just used the Rocky Talkie and been
Yeah, exactly.
just telling him what we're doing and where we're going at
Yeah.
all times, so you know.
Yeah, and he'd catch up to you, and you guys head up towards the Justice Rise, getting there about when the meeting is gonna, reconvene. However, we are about 4 hours in, and I kind of feel like if I can help it, everybody should be here, considering it's literally the
Yep.
center point of the campaign in a way is that airship. So I want everybody to have a say at it. Assuming everybody will be here next week.
I can't wait to see how
and
Matt
we'll
Saber
see what-
gets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see how things go
He's
from
gonna
there.
be fucking livid.
What do you mean we
Uh,
lost the airship?
Out of this whole campaign, that's all he ever wanted was an airship.
He all he wanted to do was fly, man.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm a
Of
We were
course,
just about to
that's
be
fun.
back in it.
Fuck.
Well,
I'm just wondering whether or not he's gonna like strangle me to death.
I don't know.
The
I
thing
mean,
is,
like, the thing is, like, the way that I would look at it is, like, whoever it was impersonated you. It doesn't really mean much. It's just impersonating you. Could have been anybody else in the group, in a sense. So
yeah, in my opinion, it's Declan's fault. He's the one that was like, "Yeah, take the ship." Yeah.
Yeah.
not exactly.
If
Like,
Declan was
without
a
the rest of
dwarf, he
the
would have
group
asked for
there,
verification
you-
and more than one member of
I
the
mean,
party.
Yeah.
You don't really know exactly what happened, but yeah,
I mean, he could have been charmed. He could have been. Yeah.
If
it
he
could
was
have been a
charmed,
lot
he
of
would have
things.
known. When those
Wait, half
with those
elves can
effects,
be charmed, right?
they were
Not
resistant.
I guess they have.
all. No, they have advantage against it, but
Yes.
not all charms have you know that you were charmed afterwards. Not all charms are like that. Some are, some aren't. There's also stuff like
Oh no.
there's also stuff like modify memory. There's
Oh shit, that's pretty
all
high level
sorts of
though.
stuff.
Well,
Well, if actually Lucian, yeah, if somebody ever actually said it, Lucian would know that the spell that was used on you guys, freaking Bladestorm bullshit. I don't actually remember what one it is, what spell it was, but it was.
It was 7th or 8th. Or cast. It was cast at
No, it
that
wasn't
level.
that high. Yeah, but it was cast at a ridiculously high level, so like there's something to think about. Fifth level spell that was cast
Shit.
4 times. So
this just throws off everything we were planning to do. I think.
Yep.
Poor Carillion's body is just gonna be fucking bones.
Well,
No,
No,
it's
it'll
just
spend a
magma
it'll spend a
is
good week or
rot-
two rotting.
rot quickly.
Yeah, he won't mind.
And we could have put him in the cooler to keep him preserved, I guess. But
Oh wait, hold
That's
on.
not an option
Actually,
now.
if I was given the chance, I probably could cast Gentle Repose.
oh yeah, to prevent it from
Yeah.
decaying and stuff, and becoming undead. Yeah, that's a good spell.
Yeah, doesn't that last like 10 days?
Yeah, it does.
10 days is, I mean, better than none.
Yeah, but you could cast it.
I would say that if,
It's only a second level
once you
spell.
guys got back in town, if that was something that you wanted to do, we can retcon that happened at some point or while you guys were at the Northern Weir.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think we would have tried to find some kind of option to preserve.
Yeah.
the
Yeah, because
body.
regardless, it would take at least 3 days to get back up to Dragon's Mouth.
Can we vacuum
that's fair.
seal him somehow?
I don't think there's
I mean-
control air. Oh, hold on. Bramnik
Maybe.
might.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to find an
do something
airtight
like
bag, though. Large enough for Carillion.
I say we just put him in a casket and send him to Dragon's Mouth, and then we'll go there some other time.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll just say we'll just say I cast a Gentle Repose. Because it's only been 2 days, 2.5 days since he's been dead. No, it's been 3 days since he's been dead.
3 days.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and say I cast Gentle Repose on him. It's in my it's not in my spell list right now, but I can just.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. And yeah, the spell that
What?
was used, you guys was Steel Wind Strike. Which is a 5th level.
Well,
If somebody actually talked about that or about Alana or whatever, Lucian might be able to give you some more information. But until that happens, it's not happening. So
question.
yes.
Melee decorated the ship with a ton of stuff. Would she have any kind of affinity or inkling? Like, would she be able to know locations of her items that she creates? Almost like a tracking signal, like.
I don't think it would work quite like that because Druidcraft doesn't necessarily last forever, right?
Right.
I think after a week, most of that stuff would have faded anyway. But even so, maybe at like a short range, but not over a long range. I don't think.
Man, we totally should have got some people to guard the ship.
Yeah.
We were just in a hurry to go save the Dragon Queen.
Yeah, that's part of why I was so fucking surprised you guys wanted to go initially. I'm like, oh,
But
okay.
what were the options? It was we was like
We didn't have to
stay in the
go,
city
like,
and do nothing, or,
immediately.
Oh, no, there were-
oh hey,
there were
by the way, there's a ton
plenty
of
of other
wyverns.
things that, I
Alright.
didn't even get to any other options or anything like that. You guys, I was like, so you see a bunch of dragon wyverns flying off. Well, we're gonna go follow them. Okay. Not even spending a night or anything like that. Really.
All right,
I was like,
all right. Whose fucking idea was it to go over there in the first place?
I
Yours.
think it was like all of
No,
ours.
it was
I mean, it was-
everybody's, but
yeah.
Todd definitely took point on it.
I mean, we kind of unanimously was like, we gotta go. We gotta go see what's going on.
Yeah, Carillion was semi-invested mostly because dragons.
Yeah, wyverns and dragons.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Whew.
Yeah, if you guys
I
didn't
can't wait
find
to.
Alana, I mean, like that was the thing. Like if you'd gotten there faster somehow, or had tracked something different, you had the potential to find Alana instead. In which case, that probably wouldn't have happened. But you know,
The prosthetics industry that you told me about in Luthadel. You said they were mechanical. Does that mean they are made of metal?
typically, yeah.
So that's probably not an option if I think about it.
As
Well-
is standard for them, probably not. But you never know. Maybe you can get ideas from there. I don't know.
Out of character.
Ironwood.
That, I guess, but also, since you're a druid, you can kind of druid craft and control like plants and wood, right?
Yeah.
Just attach some of that shit to your arm.
What I'm
I
thinking.
don't think it'll work, but I mean,
It'll
if
be
you do
clunky as
that,
hell.
It would essentially be you having a concentration spell at all times
Right.
for that arm.
Yeah, we
Feel
already got a
Groot.
Groot on our
Be the
group.
Groot.
I
Alright, well,
am
I'm gonna go sulk and try to find me a rib cracker in Diablo 2 for my Fury Druid, but
Oh man.
Oh,
So
I
I
don't
don't think that you guys necessarily enjoyed that episode, but I hope at least it
Man,
was a good
fuck
story
you.
hook.
Yeah. Alright, well,
Um,
you guys have a good day. I gotta get going.
All
All
right.
right. I will say, in the next week or two, I'm planning on doing another one of those surveys. If you guys are cool with filling that out for me, because it really does help me out.
Man, I'm
Cool.
giving you so much
Um,
shit.
I mean, yeah, I know that. And that's okay, but it helps me out. I'll probably be drawing that up in the next couple days. It's not a huge deal, but yeah, figured it would help me going forward because I think I've got a new, or like not a new, but I think I've managed to kind of refine the format in my head a little bit for how things are going to work, and I want to see how receptive you guys are to how I've been running things with slightly longer pieces and then kind of shorter pieces and all that.
Well, I guess with that, if you guys all want to go join in for an even bigger shit show next week, we'll be here. So catch you guys later.
We're always here.